Yo, have you heard of what they do now? Monica told me that what like the sex traffickers do, like when they're trying to get new women. Remember? Like they will fucking put like a zip tie on a woman's handle, like of a car.
I heard about that.
Yeah, shit like that. Like and then so then when they go and then they have to like take the time to try and cut it off or something, and then they'll come grab them or something like that.
That's fucked.
Yeah, and that happens here apparently. Like
here.
Yeah. Like there's the stories of that happening.
Well,
here.
so what I heard about that is I have a friend in the
I would
police.
believe that. Dude. I've seen some wild shit.
I want to hear what Brian says. He probably knows more than
my
me.
friend in police said that like that's overblown. Like that right now is more public myth than actual happening. That specific method.
Okay, yeah, but that's okay. So
Yeah.
we know that it happens, but even if that just happened once,
Yeah, it's pretty.
Yeah.
I mean,
scary.
people are still doing it to that degree.
Yeah,
Like,
the fact
so
that there's
bold,
like
like,
an intensity,
blatant.
so bullish.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like just going out like in.
Are we recording, by the way?
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
Are we gonna go into the podcast?
Should we just get right into it?
Yeah, let's get right
Yeah,
into
let's
it.
do
All right, yo. So this
Just
is
go off.
the FloBros podcast, episode 5. I'm your host Brandon Trong.
Co-host Min Mio.
I guess co-host Billy Best.
It's always so awkward when we do this.
And-
I don't like saying co-host.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
We can't all fucking say.
I know,
that.
yo, we're just-
You could just say host.
Yo, can we not even?
Do we have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
say host?
Do we even have to say host?
Okay,
Should we start
fuck
again?
guys,
Start
whatever.
again?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, let's redo
Yeah.
it. Retake.
1, 2, 3, and we're live. This is the FloBros podcast. I'm BT.
Min Mio.
BB.
And this is Rory Coughlin.
We got a full house today, as you can see. So today's gonna be a pretty fun episode. We got the brews out. You know, it's
Yeah.
gonna be pretty
Got the brews,
pretty
got
chill
the hookah.
episode.
Brewskis out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more,
hookah. What else
the
we got? What else we
Kron.
got?
Coals.
Yeah, we need more.
We got our apples. Fuck.
Oh shit!
Oh, you got an apple.
Keep the dentist away, brother.
How does that even work? You know, an apple a
because
day.
keeping an apple kind of cleans your teeth. I
Yeah,
guess.
because of like the way
the fiber. Or?
it's just like the meat of the plant.
Yeah,
It
the
way
kind of
it
just
scrapes
brushes.
it.
Yeah, it scrapes the
Yeah.
like. I mean, if you got like
It's
some
like a
deep,
fiber toothbrush.
It's not gonna be
Yeah.
the same as fucking brushing your damn teeth.
and
but-
sometimes
Yeah,
like
yeah.
bits will go in between your teeth, right? And
yeah,
they'll
it's
come
almost
out.
like flossing.
That's
your
flossing.
Yeah.
The skin of the teeth. Or the
Yeah.
fucking skin of
And it's
the-
not like super
apple.
sugary. It's not like you're eating like mango or something where
Yeah.
like it's.
Right. Yeah.
And go for a mango right about now.
I
Ooh,
wonder.
man. Mango lassi.
Could you
Have ever
substitute
had
brushing
that?
your
What is
teeth
that?
with apples
like a- I
and
think
then
it's an African
rinsing
drink.
your mouth out with water to
Mango
thoroughly
smoothie.
get all the sugars off?
Sounds
You
good.
could.
Yogurty.
Ooh,
It's good.
Well, I mean, the
Sounds
whole
good.
point of like your teeth is that like your teeth are with our modern diet under constant duress by all that acids and mechanical forces are happening in your teeth, right? Like snackers especially will have worse teeth off because they're always subjecting your teeth to like more instances of tooth decay,
In abrasion.
Yeah.
either through abrasion, or through acidity.
Sugary snacks.
Well, and
Yeah.
obviously sugar, like
Yeah.
especially if you eat sugar, and,
Drugs,
like,
smoking.
Yeah, that as well. Yeah, because it'll cause a dry mouth and all that. And so, yeah, like you totally could. I mean, like you go back, look at like dental records of like fossilized
People who were
humanoids,
eating
right?
primarily like.
Yeah, like they had
Yeah.
way less kind of like sugars and like carbs that were like that stick to teeth and like become sugar over time and shit. Anyways, point is,
So theoretically,
I don't know if that's really true.
you could replace brushing your teeth with eating apples, but we don't recommend it.
I don't know.
9 out of 10
don't
apple
recommend-
farmers
Don't
agree.
recommend it. Yeah.
And then 0 out of 10 that dentists recommend.
No, it's got to be like 1 out of 10 dentists.
The
There's always
one that
one.
the one that recommended all the fucking Oral B shit, or didn't recommend Oral B, right?
Yeah.
You know, they always say 9 out of 10.
Yeah, they're like, you
there's
got-
that one dentist that
you gotta
agrees
use
with
the
the
Burt's
fucking
Bees.
farmers.
You gotta make it
Fucking
convenient. You gotta make
kids.
it convenient. What the fuck?
Dude,
Not
man.
convenient, but I can't think. Convincing. You gotta make it convincing.
Billy, I
Persuasive.
can't hear you.
You gotta speak.
You gotta make it convincing.
There we go.
All right, so what's on the fucking agenda today,
Yeah, what's on
boys?
today's menu, boys?
So the first thing on the agenda today is we're gonna talk about flow.
Flow?
Sorry?
Flow.
Flow.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Okay.
in a general sense.
Yeah.
Flow.
Flow. Well, so
Well, that's what we
let me
are,
start it
right?
off. Okay, so when you have flow, right? Are you talking about
FloBros?
flow in the
I
flow
am the
state?
flow.
Or are you talking about when you're just going through life and you're flowing? You know, sometimes those two notions that I just labeled out can be very contradictory in terms of their feel. If you're just flowing with life, right? Maybe you're coasting. But when you're in flow state, isn't that the apex of consciousness? And are they
Okay,
synonymous?
Aren't
I
you?
don't know.
No, aren't you? No
Where am
matter
I pulling
what.
parallels here right now?
I think no matter what you're doing in life, you're coasting.
Are you okay?
No.
but what if you're?
No,
What
yeah,
if
it's
you're
not
like?
always coasting.
No, but coasting is not necessarily a
Okay, sorry, but what is coasting to you? So
Coasting is
define
flowing.
coasting.
I think coasting.
Okay, but then what is flowing?
Yo, guys,
just going with
I was
shit.
just shitting the shit there. But if we're gonna talk about this seriously, then we have to ask the question: does ambition factor into the notion of what is coasting? Does ambition play a part?
Okay, so say like, I think it comes down to your belief or understanding of how the universe is working or unfolding around you,
Okay, yeah.
right? So
A belief or understanding.
well, because we don't fucking know, so you have to have like subscribe to some like you must,
It's more belief probably than understanding.
yeah, or
Ooh,
yeah.
do you mean like determinism or?
You could understand maybe parts of how things work around you,
Yeah.
and then some things you can't explain, so you might have to have a little bit
Be a
of
little
belief.
faith? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Sure.
So I think it all depends on that, right? So your notion of coasting could depend on what that is. Like,
Okay, but then answer what's the question of ambition and the notion of coasting?
so yeah, I'm getting to that.
Okay, like what my question is, if you have ambition, you have goals, you have like things that you're doing to
Yeah.
try and better yourself or whatever, right? Are you flowing?
I think you're flowing.
I think
Only
you're flowing,
in
yeah.
action.
Yeah.
Because
You have
you're
to
not
be
stagnant.
doing it.
If you're not doing it,
Yeah.
if you're doing nothing, you're stagnant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you're not flowing.
Then you're not flowing.
Yeah.
So flowing. That's what I'm saying. What's the difference between
Flowing and
coasting and flowing? 'Cause
Okay,
when,
here's the difference,
When you're
here's the
flowing,
difference.
you're in motion. You're progressing. You're doing. You're
Flowing,
pro-
like,
and-
you have
and
some
There's motion
intentionally
in
too.
both. There's motion
Like-
in both.
But then we have this notion. No, we have this. I feel like we have a preconceived notion of like, oh, he's just coasting, like that he's doing nothing. So like, what is
Yeah,
coasting?
yeah.
Well, so that's what I'm asking.
Coasting
does,
is like
does
a-
ambition play a role in coasting?
Coasting is like you have your 9 to 5 job. You're not fucking trying to go to school to get a better career. You're not like making podcasts on the
So what if-
weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
So what if
you're just
coasting-
coasting through life, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Flowing, maybe you,
effortlessly.
Yeah, effortlessly.
Yeah.
But then flowing is kind of considered effortless, right? Like,
Okay,
you're,
so
you're just
what
flowing
about
down
this?
a river.
So this ties in Brandon's point. So wait, no. I forget what word you used, so I'm trying to remember what you were saying.
I don't know like if this has any fucking meaning to what we're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I was just starting to riff on something.
No,
and
so
I was
Brandon
just,
was saying, like, not
passing
intent.
off to you guys like a fucking flaming potato.
Yeah, no, we just
then
fucking
we just kept
hounded,
passing it back.
just hounded like hyenas.
I don't know.
No, fuck.
Have you guys ever wanted to eat meat the way a carnivore eats meat?
Like
You
just-
see like
like
a
just
tiger just fucking go at it like a
No.
bloody
No,
body?
No,
absolutely not.
I don't
Absolutely
see
not.
that appealing.
But
in
what do
any
they
way.
taste though? Are they tasting anything? Like what is it? What
blood
makes
and iron?
Do you think
Chili.
like tigers, like say fucking in a like in a sanctuary, like in a pen, are they like, fuck man, I could really just use some
Zebra
some
right
fucking
now?
alive zebra, like all these fucking chunks
I
of
want
meat.
the liver.
Like when
Yeah.
you're
I
craving a
love the
cheeseburger?
liver.
Yeah, to that, yeah.
Yeah.
But yes, like imagine the fucking dopamine levels in a tiger's brain and like everything that they like, just how fired they are fired up
During
they
the
are
hunt and the
when they're like
kill.
going after a gazelle or some
Yeah.
shit, man. Like,
And
tearing that
they
shit
do,
apart,
like, dude, if you watch them,
Well,
like,
that's
they'll be like
instinctual,
mouth
isn't it?
drooling
Like-
and like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
just
They'll
they're
be
probably
like-
in like a state of like ecstasy almost,
Yeah,
like
for
just,
sure.
just tearing up this other animal that's totally
that's
helpless.
interesting. I never thought of that. Like, you know,
That is
like,
pretty
you think you enjoy food, but
Yeah,
That
yeah.
thing-
Imagine what, and like they might have gone like a week.
imagine a stoned lion, like
Oh.
how good that would be. Like, you
But,
know,
but maybe the hunting wouldn't be.
You know what? I'm pretty sure
Well,
back
no,
in the
but
day,
efficient,
like
if
prehistoric
they're-
times,
like
we
some
used to
other
be
lions to
hunter-gatherer,
hunt,
and
and then
hunters
and then
would have
just a
something
stoner
similar to that
fucking
hype.
lion just
You know,
chills
like
by.
hunting for days, finally getting
you
that
guys got
kill,
some good
and having
shit.
that food for your tribe, right?
Got the
Some mixture of
munchies,
some kind of
still alive,
endorphin
though?
hitting
Like,
as soon as you
man.
Like, nah,
sprint
bro,
and you
you
get
gotta
the
be
kill
out there if you want
and
the
you're done
live
with it,
shit,
and then
dog.
elation of it
We're bringing
afterwards,
back
you're
the
corpse, man,
basking
sorry.
in the revelation that yes, you
that's
got this.
crazy,
You're
though.
feeding people.
You're feeding your
breeding,
tribe for the entire week.
You're
even.
contributing to your greater tribal unit,
Yeah.
like
Well, yo,
to your
it's like-
familial unit.
So like I'm training my puppy right now, right? And
Yeah.
like I've heard that when they're like chewing and eating, they like have like a huge spike in dopamine, and that's why you train them with treats, right? Because it's like they do the
It's
right
like
thing,
people-
and then it's like, oh yeah, I fucking got like
They
you
get a
know.
hit.
Yeah, so it's just like just eating shit is just so fucking exciting for them, right? Like, you know, it's like different levels compared to
I think
humans.
it's cool.
If you think about it down to it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
basal, like if you look at the biology of it, you have this network of cells that needs to keep on surviving because it likes surviving. It's perpetuating that status quo.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, the other network of cells in here, they provide me nutrients, but how does that work?
Oh
And it
man.
goes all the way down to like
I'm gonna
down
fire up some
to-
articles.
isn't it crazy what
Like how they- yeah.
multicellular beings are? Like you like when I think of like a fucking amoeba, right? it's one cell. It's doing its thing. It's fucking enveloping shit. It's eating. And that's all happening within the confines of that one thing. But then when you take it back to us or like to a dog.
But what do we think about just us? Like, we're not just one thing. Like, we are comprised of a bunch of.
Yeah,
like,
that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point. And then, but like, how much does it
How-
or we are where we are because
and
of
are
all
we
the biological
that-
processes going on, and we're just like what is consciousness? I know
So, yo,
we fucking
Brandon.
talk about this question all
Yeah.
the
Yo,
time on this
Brandon,
podcast.
Brandon. So, like, you know, all those little individual things. Like, do you think those things are conscious?
Okay, yeah. So
They're conscious to some sort of what is relative to their existential being, but do they even? But like, there's the question of like, does that even come to a fork in the road to like talk about that? Because do they even have the ability to conceptualize that?
reason-
Like,
the
so should
reason-
we even talk
is
about it?
there-
Like, what's
No,
the
but
point
yeah,
of going
yeah.
down that road?
Yeah, well, let me bring up the point. So the reason I bring it up is like, so like we kind of like, you know, I don't know if we want to say we think we have like a good map or anything of that, but like we think of ourselves as kind of like we're at like kind of like the top, and we've kind of found all like the little like smaller,
Minutia, the gears,
you
in
know,
it
all
all.
the quarks and bosons and
Yeah.
all like little pieces. But what if we haven't really gone that far and we're not even at the top? Like, what if we are also just small little quarks and bosons?
well, we are.
Well, we are.
Well, yeah,
without
we,
a doubt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we definitely are. So it's
Yeah.
like,
But like
so
I say, I
if
know
we,
what you mean.
If we are, and then if we took a step back and look at the whole range of that scale,
Yeah.
what's to say the ones that are just a step below us aren't as conscious as we are?
If you're like,
Yeah.
like from a grand scheme of
So
things,
that's
yeah.
where.
But then, so what is consciousness, right?
Yeah, no.
I don't
Okay,
feel like
what- what I'd like to-
Yeah, I mean,
talk about
not
what
Me
you
today,
neither.
guys.
It's just kind of food for thought.
It
like-
is food for
like
thought.
how you talk about how you have all these like different cells, like if your skin cells just fucking being skin, and like your cells in your lungs doing their thing, and like, do you think there's some kind of mass consciousness between all that, or
I think
is it
so,
just like
man. I do. I think
and
so.
and then maybe nature in itself is like a sign of cellular intelligence, because it's like, how the fuck can something so complex come from just these single cells that are in theory just
And it goes
doing their own thing,
and it
or
goes
are they
beyond
kind
them.
of connected in some way?
Well,
It is,
it's
dude.
like-
Because you have ecosystems, you have whole fucking
Yeah.
things that depend on each other.
But like
so
the
it does. It like goes.
the way
I mean-
people view nature is that this just happens, right? Which it does. But is there some kind of intelligence going on between these cells, or like communication,
I
whatever?
believe so. Honestly, like.
Well, I mean, like, what is intelligence? Chemicals being released to another just based on
Yeah.
like, you know, chemistry. Like we're like
Like
Where's
the way I
intelligence
look
in
at
that?
it, the only way that all these different things could so like logically make sense to work together, and like a way that you can even think that works, like comprehensible, is that it has to be stemming from like this one consciousness, like kind of fucking like almost like a blanket, or like I don't know how you want to view it, but like it's permeating through everything kind of thing.
yeah.
And then through that, like there is some sort of connection where like they almost kind
Yeah.
of like know, like not telepathically, but like without even telepathy, like they just kind of.
Well, they're all working towards
They
the
just know
same
without knowing.
goal, which is
You saying that makes me think that like intelligence, I think, is measured in complexity, and
Yeah.
there's intelligence qualitative difference between a multicellular being and a single cellular being. But I'm not saying one is better than other. I'm just saying
Yeah.
there's a quality
Can't
to
have
it
one without
that is
the other.
more complex than the other, and because of that, I think you can then say the multicellular is more intelligent because it is dealing with more stimuli,
Yeah.
potentially, likely, arguably, and more. Wow, that felt like a Joe Rogan. It's entirely possible moment. Anyways, there is quality where multicellular or more complex things are more intelligent because of their complexity, whereas when you look at more simplistic, or when you're doing a comparative analysis of two things, the thing
Mhm.
that has less interconnectedness, less things to factor into the sum of what it is, I think you can say that it is less intelligent just because
So then
it's
are
operating
we,
on less
So
levels.
are we then measuring intelligence by how much like functionality you can pack into like a
maybe
like a
not
body?
necessarily functionality. Maybe functionality is
Like-
one way
like-
to
like
describe
functions,
it.
like how
but
many
like
things is it
how many things
capable of?
that it is gonna be not likely,
yeah,
but
maybe
like
not functions, but yeah.
But like when you have a clump of clay, right? You can say that's not intelligent because it's a uniform thing that is known biologically not to have many kind of, or chemistry wise in its state and environment to have a lot of known reactions or interactions to occur. Maybe you could put a lump of clay in a scenario where it's in like this chemical soup that it will then have a lot of interactions with, and it can maybe develop intelligence. Because I'm thinking back now on when they had those experiments where they would take all the constituent parts of what the Earth was at a point where when
Well,
we would have like this like volcanic soup going on, right?
Yeah.
With like high nitrogen content and like a lot of carbon and all that, and eventually like amino acids started developing. And the reason why I'm saying like I'm trying to rationalize things right now between a slightly on the metaphysical side, but then also very on the practical physical side of like what we can observably see. And the reason why we should do, I think, well, I'm going so many tangents, but
I'm trying to
end it
follow.
right there. I agree with Min, we shouldn't get into this right now, just because like, let's talk about some light shit, yeah.
All right.
I just want to make one more point.
I was just gonna.
The-
Sorry, but before
my
I make
question would be: is it random or not? Like,
I don't think it's random. Well,
that, what do
is
you
it-
mean?
is
Like
it,
what?
like,
What
so-
element?
like
it just is.
through evolution, like just through trial and error, and like
You mean like intelligence?
Natural selection. Here, I'll
Yeah,
give you a
it-
perfect example of
well,
your.
like it's more like did it happen through just natural selection, like through a random sequence of events these organisms found ways to survive and kept that up or whatever, or is it they were already kind of working together from the start, like
No, I think it's
no,
a bit of both.
I think it's first. What you said.
Yeah.
I think it's more
It's random.
random.
Let me
It's
give you a
just- Yeah, okay,
scenario
I would say it's
that
random
would
like
kind
that,
of
yeah.
like frame what you're trying to say. So, for example, there are fungi and
I don't think it
fungi
is
and
random.
bacteria in the soil that are
What do you think,
beneficial
Rory?
to plants, and
I-
they
I
work
like
in
what you said.
symbiosis, right?
Right.
consciousness,
But
it's-
who or what decided these particular
like how it
fungi and
could've
bacteria?
unfolded is random, but,
it was
like,
through
yeah, it
natural
would've
selection
been what it's gonna
and
be.
trial
Yeah,
and error,
you know what I mean? And
over
that's
time,
not random.
because there are several
Yeah.
other different fungi and bacteria also in the soil, but because
Yeah.
these particular fungi and bacteria actually provided positive beneficial chemicals to feed the trees, those ones survived in return.
Yeah.
Therefore, over a process of time and natural selection, the other fungi and bacteria that didn't benefit the trees would disappear.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the ones that were working in symbiosis with the trees would stay and
you know,
thrive, right?
perhaps it's just because nature is so complex that maybe we want to believe that there's some kind of cause to it all, because the idea that it is just random and then it just happened is pretty insane. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say that it's wrong, right? But it's
I don't think it's random, man. Personally, like there's too much. It seems like there's too much intent behind it.
I think it's easiest for us to ask questions by the very qualitative fact that we are able to ask these questions.
Well, yeah, of course. It's the only
Like-
way you can think about any of these like ideas.
But like I think like if you is there irony to the fact that we're able to understand the universe as we are able to see it, and see that if we accept that like the stars aligned, they just simply did, and like until proven otherwise, like that we are truly unique, but we simply haven't done enough data to really prove that yet.
Mhm.
We haven't observed enough the universe.
Well, yeah, and that's so. I kind of mentioned this earlier with Rory. I feel like that's the problem. I feel like we're not gonna figure out these kind of like answers to these kind of like questions using our current model of like
Yeah.
scientific like I'm not saying like the science is bad. I'm not saying the scientific model is like.
sometimes
It's
it's
not
like,
complete.
It
I'm
needs
just
to
saying-
be
Well,
more
well, then,
open.
I'm
well,
saying-
how would you do it otherwise then?
Well, I
To not
don't-
just observe and then to understand.
to not
I don't have
cancel
that
things
answer right
out.
away.
Like
I'm
like,
just saying.
I don't
I'm
think
just
there's
saying
anything
that-
wrong with the scientific
I think
model.
there is
like
something
it's
wrong because I think I don't have like the exact answers. I haven't tried to diagnose this problem yet. But to me, there seems to be an issue where like I see too many things that I believe deserve exploration that get immediately written off by science or like.
Well, I
everyone.
think that's a cultural thing. That's not
Yeah.
science in science
no,
and
yeah,
how
but
science is
the
practiced.
culture listens to science.
To be honest,
Sure, but that's a cultural thing. Like
Yeah.
if we're
Pure
talking about
science?
if we're talking about scientific like
Dude,
the
science
scientific
runs this
method.
society, so
Dude, hold up. That's a cultural thing. The
Doesn't
scientific.
matter.
No,
No,
it
doesn't
does
matter.
matter because look, you can take the scientific method and apply it to what you're doing to further your point and your understanding of the thing, and it will work. There's no flaw of that. But what you're talking about is that the fact that there's like this cultural zeitgeist where people buy into the notion of scientific anything is the truth, and then they take that, and then people are able to be corralled and act like sheep, and for whatever
well,
agenda
to be
pursued by
fair,
like,
I haven't like presented a proper argument.
no, but like what you're saying to me is in the fact that there's a zeitgeist where people will lead
Sure,
science
there's a
blindly.
zeitgeist element to it, but I'm saying there's fundamental issues with like how we just do things.
It's more cultural because if
Well,
you
no,
look
no.
at
I want to hear what. Sorry, I didn't
Okay.
mean to interrupt you, but I feel like Billy. I think
Well, I
he
don't
needs
want to
to
shoot
elaborate.
myself in the foot. Like I said, I'll come back with like a proper argument. This is not something I really spend time with. But
Well-
I'm saying I'm just too often seeing things I believe should be looked into more.
Okay,
If
Well,
you can,
let
I
me just
end-
shed some light on that.
Okay, let's share closing statements on this very quickly
and
finishing
it's always
debate.
in the name of science. It's not the culture.
My ending statement with this is that if you can't explain it to your grandmother easily right away, then you don't know what you're talking about in this
Well,
specific case.
I'm not necessarily claiming to know what I'm
Or you
talking
don't
about.
understand
I'm
it
just,
well enough.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
admitting that.
yeah.
Okay, well,
I'm
what
just
about-
like saying I feel like we're not looking at things and we're missing like things that are very valuable to us, and I don't think we're gonna make that leap until we can figure out a way to stop missing these things.
okay. I just want to say one thing.
That sounds like science to me.
So okay,
Like,
Yeah.
you're identifying a
have you guys ever heard of
issue
like
with the
And like I
model.
said in my initial statements, I don't have a problem with science. I just think it needs to be like we gotta tweak something. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Maybe it's like I don't know. I haven't tried to diagnose this.
like when you're talking about like
Okay.
the actual say like what is this scientifical mechanism, like you do an experiment and if you can repeat that reaction,
It's all about
then
measurement.
you can prove that is what it is. Or
Well, I
you know,
think it's fair to agree that that's conclusive.
well, no. See, this
And
is
that
the
notion
problem.
that, like-
okay, so hold
yeah.
on.
Yeah.
This is the problem. Is like you're assuming that you can measure everything, and I'm saying that you can't. That I guess that would be if I was gonna try and build an argument. That's probably where I would start.
That's a fair assumption.
My-
That's a fair counterpoint. But then let me then ask, okay, if you can't measure everything, well, you'll need to measure things that you need to want to be measuring. And I feel like science works for that in the most case. If we're talking
Yeah,
about metaphysical things, then yeah, of course, like that's more difficult.
okay, I just want to say one thing. Have you guys heard about like the Fermi paradox?
Yeah.
So it's basically saying like if there were other extraterrestrials, then where are they?
Yeah.
That's basically the whole
because
thing.
it would take by account looking at all the numbers.
Because
like, there
they-
should be this many.
yeah. there should be like tons of
It's a
fucking-
Drake equation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of all like the Earth-like planets out there, there should be like
Yeah.
however many even in our galaxy, right?
Yeah.
But that thinking alone is very limited because there's so many other things that could be happening. Like
Happening, but we
they
just
have
aren't able to
visited us,
observe
and
it.
yeah, they have visited us, and the general population doesn't know about it. That's
Yeah.
one. Or they are visiting us, but they're not letting us be aware of it because they know that we're not ready for it.
Yeah.
Like there's so many other, and so when
There's just infinite
yeah,
possibilities.
like exactly. And then so when they limit it right off the start with that idea that well, if they were there, then they would have visited us.
Yeah.
That's and then you know what I mean. That's kind of a limited way of thinking. And so I see a lot of scientific theories as kind of being limiting from the start, of just in the way that they're thinking.
Yeah.
And that, as far as like the actual method of doing experiments, that is
that's
cool.
Yeah.
That's not, you know what I mean.
I like
I think-
science, dude.
Yeah.
I like science.
Because that's the only way
Yeah.
you can prove something.
yeah.
But like, I don't think.
so like
But like.
so I just want to say like where this kind of rubs me and where like I kind of got interest in thinking about
Yeah.
any of this, it really comes down to it because I think about consciousness a lot and like what goes into like what is humanity, like those are the questions I'm interested in. What
Yeah.
are we, what the fuck are we even, like what are we, what's our purpose?
Okay.
So I'm interested if like can we take science to a level where we can actually explain those things, and if we knew the answer to those things, would we operate the same way? Would we have the same trajectory? If we knew the answer to these things, would we be trying to live forever? Would we be trying to do these things?
Let me explain to you why like
Oh,
science
shit.
doesn't go into like like things like you're saying they should be putting time into, because you got to look at reality and how the human society is structured today. It's based on money. You know what I mean? If the science is researching something that doesn't benefit the status quo, no funding is going to be put into that research that
Well,
we
yeah,
want to
that's-
see.
that's what's
That's what I'm
happening.
saying. It's not science's fault. Science can find the answers, but if there's no funding, because that's what our society is based on today, that research is not going to get done.
Well, I think-
that's a fault of our
I think-
society.
I think
That's
it's
what I'm saying. It's
50-50.
cultural.
Yeah.
It's not science. It's like the true scientific
I think it's
method
both because
is
dude,
true.
dude,
It's-
you have
it's true.
people who have. There's no money on the line. It could just be two people talking. There's nothing to gain. There's nothing to do. But the scientific person will still rule out what the other person's trying to offer.
What do you mean the scientific person? Who is this?
I'm just saying like.
Like, what do you mean by that?
I'm just saying someone.
Like you mean like a
can see this lot.
metaphysical discussion, and the scientist guy would butt in and be like,
I'm just
No,
saying.
no, no,
okay,
based
no,
on
I'm
science,
just saying
you're
you could have
metaphysical.
someone who's maybe like a little bit more theoretical, a little bit more just like playing with ideas that are like out there with like. You'll
science
see it a lot in
or with
communities.
metaphysics?
Anyone who talks about consciousness, if you're in an intellectual community and you start trying to tie consciousness into things, they're gonna start looking at you like, nigga, what the fuck are you talking about? So it's like if you start trying to explore different new ideas kind of out there, people, there's nothing on the line. There's no money on the line. There's just this notation that like
I think that's just like a branding, marketing kind of like cultural like perception of like different.
No,
people,
that's just the
like,
intellectual
dynamics of that.
standard.
Or just things are being ruled out because of a lack of understanding.
It is
Yeah,
like
that's true.
no, but like sure, you're not wrong, Billy. But what I'm saying is, I'm saying a more kind of primal thing of what you're describing, because I'm just saying that like there's what you're describing to me sounds like intellectual elitism, which I think very much does
and
exist.
that does exist.
Yeah, that does exist.
Yeah.
And what is that based on? It's based on cultural perceptions of things, of like
Yeah.
of social classes and socioeconomic factors, right?
But
and so like if someone doesn't have a degree, yes, of course,
Yeah, they're
that person's
obviously
gonna
gonna
get shit on.
sound-
And should they? That, I mean, that's up for argument, right?
Yeah.
Especially on something like a subject of consciousness where it is so subjective. Like, how do you?
Well, why would a degree matter when the people giving out degrees don't know fuck all about consciousness?
Well, see, well, that's like, and then so we're talking about it's a cultural issue.
Yeah.
Like, I don't necessarily disagree with you in principle what you're saying,
Yeah.
but maybe the way you're delivering it, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah, I
I
agree.
don't
I think,
necessarily-
this,
I think we all
I'm-
agree.
this all comes down to delivery at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's just trying to understand what each other's even fucking saying.
Trying to communicate.
But
yeah.
yo, I want to get back to you.
Like
what-
my main point when I brought this up, sorry,
Yeah.
but like my main
I
point
kind
when
of know
brought
what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
My
Like,
thing
Yeah,
is,
I know- I get what
just,
you're saying.
I
Yeah.
just think we're missing, we're barely, like, in my opinion, like, probably, like, you know, very high percentage, like, probably almost 100% missing, like, really important things.
Sure,
Oh,
sure,
yeah.
but totally. But I would say,
And
you
I would
s-
and I would probably agree with you that it's to some degree social, but I think it's also some degree fundamentally, like, just, like, we could probably maybe tweak some shit.
Well, of course, I think we should always tweak and iterate and improve on our systems that we are, especially as our global human systems, our cultural systems, right? But I would say, by you saying science and just using science as a catch-all, I think
Yeah, I
that's
think
a
that's
tough sell. If you had
disingenuous.
said,
Well, but that's what they tell you when they're
scientific-
selling you statistics. But, like, oh, a scientist came up with this.
Well,
like,
yeah. So what you gotta say is, guys, you gotta say
Question the source.
there's
But no one's
the
questioning the
issue
source
with
when the
intellectual
corona's coming
elitism.
out. No one's questioning sort of, oh,
Yeah.
.gov,
Oh, shit.
it's legit. Like,
Oh shit.
No, people are you kidding me?
Well, the majority
Half of
are.
America questions .gov without a doubt.
Yeah.
okay, but it's not
Yeah,
having
like all
any
the
effect
all the
really on
people in
anything.
Florida.
Yeah, it
fucking-
does. Dude, what are you talking about?
Doing
Who do you think
rages
you
on
got
the
Trump
beach.
into office? The same kind of people who'd
I'm
be
talking
like,
about like policy changing and things happening with our money and shit right now, like with Corona. What the fuck does Trump have to do with that?
what? What? Well, no, because you're saying .gov. I'm saying like there's a strong like.
You're saying people already question the source. I'm saying if everyone was questioning the source, so like
I'm not saying everyone's questioning source, but I'm saying there's a large part of
If
humanity
even half-
questioning the source.
okay, but they're not doing a very good job and they're not doing anything.
Well, I mean, that's on them, and that's on you if you share the same sentiment as them. For you guys to band together and create
Or if they are
political force
doing
out of
something,
it.
it's getting like completely shadowed out because no one's fucking seeing it. Because I'm not seeing it.
Well, like I mean,
Guys.
I think it's easy
I'm
to
not-
criticize, like too.
Yeah, I hear people criticize shit every day,
Yeah.
but I'm talking like
I think we're stuck on this topic.
I'm saying like I don't. Well, yeah, but I don't see anyone. Sure, maybe everyone's questioning shit, but I don't see anyone really challenging anything like to a large degree. Fundamentally, that affects us on our day to day. Like,
I mean, it's difficult because you like.
Are you talking about revolution? Or are you talking about like what? Because like
if that's what it takes. Yeah.
I think humanity at its current scale is such a
I think if-
huge mammoth of an entity
I think
that
if
if you're gonna
enough
have
people-
change, if you want to have change that's fast, it's got to be
Yeah.
strong and rapid.
Yeah.
And that's often violent. I'm not saying it has to be violent because not always.
That's
but
why we have
it will-
governments.
and
Well, it's part of it.
and what you have with humanity too is that we exist in states of minds where we don't like to rock the boat.
No.
We like stability.
Yeah,
Humanity
really
favors
comfy.
stability.
Well,
so
you
what
see,
you
just-
need is a really dedicated core group of people to rock the boat. Terrorism. That's how they rock the boat.
Yeah.
But not always terrorism.
So what
Sometimes
if,
through media, you have strong cultural forces. Like you think about hip hop in the '90s.
yeah.
You think about
And what happened?
all
to
the
hip-hop
environmental activism today.
got washed out,
You got hijacked and then
hijacked
Yeah.
by the industry
they use it as a source of,
because it was too powerful. Like, you
Yeah,
know,
it was too powerful.
It was way
Well,
too powerful.
Yeah,
like,
no, it's
They had
because
to
you
take
think
it
about if
over.
people continued
Sick
with
beats,
that
dude.
mentality
The
and like,
message.
And the
you know, actually
message.
talking shit about like what's happening in the world. You know,
institutions,
like.
yeah.
You know, now your hottest artist, fuck Tekashi 69, whatever the fuck, like,
Yeah, who's
Really?
that?
it's I don't know.
What I feel like you're getting at is that like
Mm.
maybe we live in the world where everyone is already sedated.
oh
And
yeah,
in
everyone
their-
is clearly sedated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because you're
And-
saying everyone's questioning shit, but there's shit that me that's like very clearly I can
No,
maybe
no,
can't
no, no,
always
no, no,
explain
Bill,
it,
Bill,
but it's
Bill,
clearly off, and
Bill.
there's not anyone
People
questioning
question
it.
things, but do they act on them? People, you can, if you pull everyone's mind,
Well, yeah,
telekinetic,
no
like,
doubt. I know everyone's questioning. I can see it in
telepathically.
their face. I can see
Yeah.
it in everyone's face that they know that something's off, but no one. Yeah, I know people question it.
Yeah,
Yeah, no one's
but-
doing shit.
But it's kind of disingenuous to
and then
like
why
put
aren't
the
people
blame
doing
on the
shit?
masses.
I don't
like,
know.
Oh, why aren't everyone?
Maybe 'cause they
wasn't
let-
anyone doing anything? I was like,
fucking
what am I
comfortable,
doing?
I don't know.
You know, like I'm not doing shit either. So like it's hard to,
Well, you
know, like to rage like that the crowd isn't doing anything when we aren't doing anything ourselves. We're just
Well,
You know what
I
I
mean,
mean?
I don't know about you, but I am doing something.
okay, go keep the fight on. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Okay, so I feel like ultimately we're not really in much disagreements. It's more like just
Yeah.
understanding points of views
Yeah.
and
'Cause
communication.
we all agree.
there and
Well,
after.
and that's I don't know about you, and I don't know what you take from these like little banters, but like,
yeah,
kind of hearing like your guys' thoughts on things. I'm not trying to like really put anything out there. I'm just kind of putting ideas out there. I don't have an argument formed. I don't even have an idea fully formed.
Yes.
I'm just putting it out there and like like just feeling
Uh,
things out, man.
Like
Like,
just because sometimes you put out like a hard statement, it's seemingly a hard
Yeah.
statement. Like, oh, science is this, but
Yeah.
then
That's
you're
a
going back like,
loaded
oh, it's not
statement.
formed. I don't have these thoughts. Then why did you say it like this? You know what I mean?
Like, it's
so
loaded.
that's what it seems in our
because
perception.
okay, so I say it like that because that's what's being used as the thing. Like that's what people typically it's science. Like they just believe it. They have so much faith in it.
yeah.
Mm.
And then there is so
Oh,
maybe
for sure.
so
And
maybe
I don't
you're-
disagree with
so
you
I'm
in
not,
that observation,
Look, I'm
yeah.
not disagreeing. Wait, look, I agree. I maybe didn't think of it or like say it in the right
The
way.
delivery, it's the
The
delivery.
delivery, but like yeah, there is that whole like zeitgeist social aspect to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's more complicated. That's the problem with a lot of these things is we try to like point out something and we try and argue a specific like cog in a thing or a specific point, but things are so much more intricate and detailed, and it's like
For sure, yeah.
you want me to explain something, but then it's like you gotta like explain like fucking like a whole network of things, and it's,
Well, you got to start explaining somewhere at the
Yeah,
very
yeah,
least,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because if it's that big of a behemoth, you got to start chewing
Or
now.
that powerful
or,
of a
like,
statement. At least have
with
some
something.
sort of like
Well,
framework.
yeah.
Right?
yeah. Well, I think it's
To support
Yeah,
it.
okay, okay.
Oh yeah.
But it's all
Hit
just
that
an
shit.
open discussion.
yeah.
There's a lot of times I'll fucking just say something and not really have it clear.
Okay, so
Like, idea what
so
I'm
like
saying,
we'll brush
and then
over
you
this.
try and work
We'll
it
get
out.
over this in a second, but like okay, so like say I didn't say it from the stance of like
Strong.
science is fundamentally fucked. What if I said like I'm actually kind of losing track of what we're even talking about. But what if I said it from like there's just fundamentally issues with how like science is like steering society or like
Well,
I don't think it's
Or,
the
like,
fundamentals
okay.
of science, but it's the other
not
influences.
fundamentals. I keep using these fundamentals.
It's the
words,
other
but-
influences that basically can control what's being put out by science. Like
people will abuse science to further agenda.
So- can I
like
ask you
the
this?
cigarette companies who made like fake
yeah.
studies with these
and
paid
science is a
scientists,
tool
right?
for evil,
Yeah.
without
Oh,
a doubt.
absolutely,
Sci-
absolutely. Like,
scientific
totally, yeah.
racism
But
is
science
a
is
thing.
the only thing that can give us constant truth.
But it's being manipulated right now, like what you're trying to say.
Well, actually, that statement
So-
maybe
so-
Billy might
So
take
yo,
issue with.
let's maybe switch
the notion-
subjects. Let's switch subjects.
But
Yeah.
it's how the science is being.
like science is good, but it's just
The
it
true
can be
scientific
dangerous.
method is pretty.
No, like but that's what I mean.
Science at its core, what it is
Yeah.
noble and without fault.
Exactly.
Yeah.
In that
And it's
one
finding
sense.
truths in the
Objective.
universe
of what it's trying to
that we
pursue,
can all agree
which is
on.
the truth.
Yeah.
Because science is about
But
pursuing
I
the
love
truth.
like
science.
maybe
Yeah.
like we're more like the direction of science, or like
The direction of cultural science.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
cultural
Well,
science.
that's being pushed by institutions, by
'Cause the human
corporations
element,
that
that's
need,
where we
hey, we
fuck
want
it
you to
up.
research how to do this instead of helping
or we
humanity,
want more
you know what I mean?
vaccinations, so we're gonna do this. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So it's being steered. You know what I mean?
So let me ask you this: what do you think of the state of science?
The state of science, I think it's good and bad. Depends on
Yeah.
what slice of science
Yeah,
you're looking
What
at.
exactly.
slice of science is
Right?
Because
Or
it's
just its effect on culture, like.
it's
So
effect on
does its
culture.
pros outweigh its cons, or does its
Oh,
cons?
Oh, for
Absolutely,
sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
without
For sure?
a doubt. Oh,
For sure?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah.
Without
Okay.
penicillin, I would not want to be. It would suck to live. It would suck to be in a hospital.
You'd be,
But-
it'd be like corona time all
at,
the time.
at a
you know
net
what I mean?
gain, at a
Like,
net
all the
gain, I think
measles,
science
all
has
the
contributed
viruses.
way more
Yeah,
than
yeah.
any other kind of
I don't- okay,
cultural
so-
construct.
Yeah, agreed.
oh,
Okay, that's not what I meant. I wasn't trying to say like has science
Right.
contributed and like have we done well from it. I'm just saying like what do you think of the current state? Like
I think that current state isn't pinned on science,
So-
but it's
so-
pinned on people utilizing science in nefarious ways. It's pinned on people, not pinned on some.
so
Abstract notion
so can
of
we
a
all
topic.
agree that there is like
There's abuse of science.
For
like
sure.
we could do like we gotta do something better with science?
Oh,
Like,
for sure. Oh, yeah.
Like for
And
example,
I think
like
science. I think a true scientist, no true Scotsman, but like a true scientist would appreciate the fact that you want to pursue science at a higher, elevated level. whatever that may be.
in benefit to humanity.
You know what I think a big part of it is too. It's not even an
But
issue with
that-
science,
yeah.
but it's more of an issue with the public or
Yeah,
humanity.
it is. It is. And what I described right now, just that notion of how beautiful science can be, right?
Yeah.
Because that is so strong of a vision, that can then be utilized by people and spin things in a
Right.
negative way.
And if the public is
co-opt it.
ignorant,
Yeah.
then there's nothing they can do about
for
it.
example, if science is wielded by the power of for being weaponized, they can for tying it to coronavirus. Like if coronavirus is man-made, well, they weaponize the virus. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So it's being used for a negative aspect in that regard. But if you,
Okay, yeah.
you know,
See, we keep talking about different things.
yeah.
I think we
Sort
should
of.
just switch topics here.
Switch topics.
Yeah, switch some gears. Let's look at some Reddit.
No.
No? All right, we're going back.
Sorry, I just really wanted to eat that apple, and I was holding it the whole time.
I think the way we transitioned, it was just like kind of a blend of kind of like related topics,
Yeah.
but different.
Yeah,
So-
different. I was trying to
Alright.
hit it from a different angle.
But
I want to bring it back to where I was talking about the Fermi paradox. Where I want to ask you if you ever heard about the dark forest theory.
No.
So the dark forest theory is a scientific construct from this Chinese writer called Liu Xixin. I may be butchering that. I don't speak Chinese, not Mandarin at any least. But the dark forest theory, and it's like this idea in his scientific novel, in his sci-fi novel, that has to do with aliens and science. But the notion is that the reason why civilizations haven't met each other in intergalactic space yet is because if a civilization deems that at any given point another civilization spacefaring may be given a threat to it, may pose a threat to its existence, that the best course of action would always to be
avoidance.
doing
out.
a first strike.
yeah.
Similar to how if you're a hunter in a dark forest, right? And you're walking through the dark forest, because your visibility is so low, and in this case, when we're talking about visibility, we're talking about gaps in practicality between civilizations. Because the vastness of space, because the practicality, or rather the impracticality of communication is so minimized.
the fact that you even ran into them, you can't even like really risk it. Or...
Yeah.
But
so,
it's only-
No, let me finish this.
Yeah, sorry.
So that I kind of butchered my explanation by this.
Keep
So
going,
I
keep
kind of
going.
No,
reversed
but,
it.
I
But
understand,
But hunter, because it can never see the other thing, it should always, and if it wants self-preservation, it will strike first at anything comes away. And so that's the dark forest theory, where instead of us being the hunters, we're the civilizations navigating through the vastness of space. But it's rooted on the fact that and yeah.
So
I'm
we
rambling.
can get blasted or we
but then
blast.
that's ruling out that there could be some sort of civilization
Who's
that doesn't see
benevolent.
other civilization as a threat
Yeah.
because maybe they're so advanced that
Right, true, but
it's coming from a very limited
Yeah.
perspective
But
of
instinctually-
hunter being
and
hunted.
that's
Yeah, yeah.
and sorry, but
Assuming that the race
that's
is,
assuming they have the same instincts as us too.
Yeah.
Like what if
And, you know.
instinctually they're so fucking different
alien
from us?
and yeah.
Well,
Like the
we can't even
concept of
comprehend.
war.
Of course,
Like they've
like-
never had war. They're just like this fucking perfect
You know,
They're immune to fucking. They can't even be killed.
you know what I mean? Like,
well,
another one that I heard was that
No, but yeah.
Well, I know,
it's
we-
just you're just reading like a.
well,
yeah.
no. But think about it. No, truly think about it. As far as we know, what life can
It
constitute
seems
now.
to me this seems like a high probability and would raise like if we had the detection systems like oh shit we're about to have contact we should be like all right let's be careful because they're probably gonna bust on us like.
But then also think about this: if you were, say, us, we came in contact with another civilization, and we decided, oh, we should do the first strike. What if that was the completely wrong decision to make because now we've invited war, right? Like,
what if they had an
you know,
alliance?
Yeah.
and it's
We're
like,
just
and then
like, oh,
if you're
crap.
doing the first, like, how do you know that
You just
we
threw
can
like a pea at them and then they're gonna
Exactly.
come and fucking
The
like.
cannons.
And then what if they were
No,
they were not
guys.
benevolent up until
The
that?
point I'm trying to make is that this may explain for why the Fermi paradox is what it is. That the notion why, despite how vast space is, how you think it should be filled up, maybe there are
I get what you're saying.
like.
so
Look,
the reason
sure, there could be maybe Star Trek in
the
our
reason you don't
galaxy.
see anything out there is because everything killed everything.
Yeah, because no, once a
And we're the leftovers, we
once a
won.
spacefaring civilization hits a point where it
Oh,
may
we
be able to
just never
encounter
even
other civilizations,
And
Under
then
the
that
something
radar.
happened and we forgot.
well, no, like guys, I think proven in our own society, and I know this is very human centric, and I know we're talking about aliens and galaxies, and where it's very anti-human centric, but this is the only data point we can really go off of.
This is
When you're
limited
put
data point.
when you see society so easily manipulated by fear, and when a society can rise to the point where it can go intergalactic, do you think it'll act more on fear or on love?
Well, it's gonna react on fear.
It's going to react, and that's the notion. It's going to react.
That's what it knows.
But are they all going to
Maybe
react
its
on fear?
intent.
Well, yeah,
Like-
because look at it right now. Okay, you have all these people get. I'm sorry for bringing up Corona again, but like,
You never brought up Corona, really, so don't worry.
well,
We
when I
haven't touched
brought
it
up
today.
science, when I brought up
You were
science,
thinking it. I know you're thinking it, but you didn't bring it up. So this is the
Yeah.
first mention of Corona in the
But,
episode, really.
Yeah. Anyways, I was thinking it. Wow. Shit, I'm losing my shit. Sorry, I lost my shit. I forget.
You see,
what-
there's just so many reasons of why we may not be seeing other extraterrestrials.
Yeah, they can exist on totally different
Oh, sorry,
planes
I
of
remember
existence.
what I was gonna say now.
just-
Remember what I was saying now. So like Corona, right? Like, to Roy's point, like maybe not everyone would be running on fear.
Yeah,
But that's
exactly.
the issue with how I see society right now. It's like, yeah, maybe not everyone's running on fear, but fear is running the fear is
Majority?
steering the ship.
Like, what if fear is it? Like, not saying that fear is not
And
universal,
no one's
but
listening to the niggas.
what
who
if
ain't scared.
humans are so like focused on fear that a lot of what we think of comes out of fear? Like, you know what I mean?
When I think about it, I don't know if it's so much fear steering the ship, or more of people
when-
using fear to steer
Well, it's
the ship.
It doesn't really. Okay, so maybe that's not fear steering the ship, but that's malicious intent steering the ship
Yes,
using
of
fear.
course, yeah.
Same shit to me. Like, yeah.
I think.
It's the same
okay,
scenario.
question for you guys. Do you think evil is a stronger force than good? If you think about it, like
No,
if someone,
I think good is better.
no.
well, no, good is sure, good is better. But what I mean by like, do you think?
I think they're equally balanced.
I think they're equally balanced, but I think like you can choose which to embrace, right? So like as a fucking species, we can choose to embrace to be like a more like good bearing. Like we don't have to have evil within us. I don't think we have to be evil. I don't agree that.
Do you think we rest more at a state of good?
I believe there might be like yin and yang, but I don't believe us as a human species have to bear evil.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to be evil at
Yeah.
all. So. Yeah. That's my thoughts.
I
No,
think in
I
a
agree.
physical existence, there must be both.
I think there must be.
We can't
A
have
form
one
of
without the
both.
other.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you can't.
Because
one
you can't have birth without death. Like say a star gets old and blows up, and then it creates new stars, or
Yeah.
you know,
I don't know.
life begets
I don't know
death.
if you have to have both, but I think in whatever context this like whole like space universe shit is in, we have to have both.
yeah, exactly. Like
But like say like you like had your own instance of all this shit, I
Yeah.
don't think you would have to have
but to
both,
have
you know
like
what
a
I mean?
physical existence,
But in whatever game we're in, you have to have both.
like a physical universe, I think there has
Yeah.
to be both.
Like for example, like if a lion kills a zebra, is the lion evil for killing the
No.
zebra?
No.
No.
right? It's just part of cycle.
Well,
of
I
life
mean,
and
like,
death and-
okay, well, this is backtrack for a moment. Evil is a very human construct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like that's a human thing.
And yeah, what is
like-
evil?
Like, what is evil? Yeah, that's what I was asking in my head the whole time.
yeah,
I'm
like
talking
like
about
the
this.
difference between bad and evil, or like you know what I mean. Like evil's, like how would you define evil over bad?
So then, how about when like dolphins intentionally pick on other sea life?
You mean like rape porpoises?
Yeah, and like that.
Okay.
Is
Yeah,
that
I
is
would
that
say that's
evil? Like
evil.
what is that?
I say that's evil.
I think
Fucking
rape is.
dolphins are-
I think rape is
Out of
evil.
line.
Well, yeah, I think anything is evil when you're like when you're doing something against the will of another, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Especially violently.
And if
right?
you're joy and gaining
Oh, what
like
if
some
it's
sort of
like a-
joy and satisfaction out of like another.
That's
well,
actually evil.
that's sadistic as fuck.
That's sadistically evil.
Okay, like so you talk about is a tiger eating a deer or whatever fucking evil? No, it's just trying to
No.
survive.
Right.
But is like
That's
a,
the natural course.
Yeah, but
of
a
it.
dolphin
Is it-
raping a porpoise for pleasure.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's
Is
not a
that-
Like, you can
necessary.
say that evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not necessary.
But does the dolphin know that it's doing something like malicious and evil?
Maybe
it
doesn't.
Doesn't
Maybe
know.
that's
I don't
why
know.
it's doing
I
it.
can't speak to that.
I can't speak to that
Dolphins are
either.
fucking
I'm just
smart,
throwing
man.
it out there.
Dolphins
I don't
are
know.
fucking
I
smart.
feel like.
Yeah, they're pretty smart.
See, I'm not.
Movement.
Alright, this is just. I'm just feeling. This is just how I feel. But like,
Spit it
I
out.
feel like
So-
evil is more like a nature, or not nature, but more of like an energy, right? And I think everyone may experience evil, but like someone might do something evil, or feel evil, or some.
Doesn't mean that they are.
But they
evil.
might not be evil. You know what I mean? So I think there's also that aspect too.
Well, like let's say for example, you get in a situation you're with your loved ones, and there is like a person trying to attack your family, and and you have to adopt this like side of evil in order to get violent to fight them off. Is what is that? Is that to
Well, but is violence evil?
Yeah, I mean, like when you're
I-
saying,
see,
because
that's-
when you said that statement just now, Min, you were assigning an
was like-
attribute to violence that may not necessarily be inherent to violence.
Right, or be
Like
inherently
you were
evil.
coloring it from
That's
the
like
get-go
fighting
with that
fire with
statement.
fire, but I'm not necessarily using fire to fight that fire. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like just because I'm getting violent, I could be spraying water. Like,
Okay, that's a bad
For like
analogy.
a good cause, because you're
Okay,
doing
like,
it
that's
to,
a horrible
to
analogy.
defend.
When I think of evil,
yeah.
I think of like a serial killer, like
Yeah.
fucking Ted Bundy or
Right.
like fucking Jeffrey Dahmer. Like, you know, as far as like bad, like the difference between bad and evil, like
Yeah, yeah. I think that is true.
like
yeah.
or just something that's negative or something that like
well, I think bad is not evil. I think bad is just things that bad could be evil because evil is just like the
Yeah, well,
fucking
bad
end of the
things
spectrum.
happen.
like you got fucking struck
But
by
bad is
lightning.
just undesirable
That's-
possessions.
Yeah, undesirable.
that's
Sure,
bad.
I tipped my
There's
pink
nothing
hand
fucking
over by
evil
knocking
about
over
it.
my
Got
foot.
struck by
That's a bad
lightning.
thing to
Exactly.
happen.
Like there's
That's
no
not
fucking
evil.
Zeus
No,
up in the sky.
yeah,
like,
that's
I'm
a
gonna
good-
fucking
that's a good
strike
point
this
you made.
bitch.
You
You just
know,
got struck by
Well,
lightning.
evil needs intention.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
okay, yeah.
Evil needs attention.
So if the tiger is attacking this deer just strictly because it wants to fucking
Kill
torture the
something,
thing,
that thing, yeah,
I guess that's kind
torture
of
it.
like an evil
That would be yeah.
intention.
But it would be hard to prove the tiger was maliciously killing her if he was hungry.
Well, yeah,
I guess if he
well,
didn't
yeah.
eat it, if he was
Yeah,
just
if it
killing
just
them-
killed
Yeah.
if he's just killing them and leaving them laying
Yeah.
out, which
Yeah.
happens, doesn't it? Like
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
It happens with cats.
I don't know about tigers, but yeah, I've heard of like animals.
Yeah, but then
killing
cats
shit.
live a life of luxury and free from want.
Yeah.
You know,
They-
I don't think you're gonna get that while under duress.
a house cat's going out hunting even though it just
Dude.
fucking
Yeah.
ate.
But
Yeah,
like
you
a
know,
tiger,
Dude, I saw the dopest house cat the other day.
or like a lion in the savannah, if it's hunting, it's probably hunting for the purpose of survival.
Yeah.
It's hunting because it's hungry, because
Yeah.
it needs to.
Well, and they're
Because
not
something's
like,
priming it
So
to
house
hunt.
cats are fucking evil.
I think more often than not, like wild animals are.
They have no reason
I
to
think
do
when
it.
you
have,
become
like, a-
domesticated,
Yeah.
A surplus of fucking food, like
But what if it's like so? I guess no.
consciousness.
I don't think like most wild animal predators would not hunt if they had just ate. It's like
Yeah,
if you have
yeah.
like a big like boa python snake, as long as you keep the thing fed, it's never gonna like attack
Right.
you or anything.
Yeah, it's gonna
because
be
it has
docile.
yeah, it's just chilling. Like
Well, there's nothing priming it to be wanted.
yeah, and
hunt.
plus it's trying to metabolize all of its food, so it's probably doesn't have much energy to
Yeah, it's in a resting
even do
state.
anything.
Yeah.
But still, it's like it has no reason to go out and hunt if it had just ate, you know. And I think most animals are like that. I can't think of any animal that would just
Dolphin.
hunt for except for like a fucking house
Isn't
cat.
there like I don't know what they are. Not is it maybe the anteater or some fuck thing like that? There was some like jungle animal that just like oh man, I remember watching this documentary with Brandon. We might have been stoned or on mushrooms. I can't remember, but there was
Yeah,
something
yeah,
that just
yeah.
like it just goes out and kills. Maybe it was, I think maybe it was fucking grabbing rats, mice. No, what the
Oh, but then there are
it just kills. Its purpose is just it just keeps killing.
you do have like
what was it?
chimpanzees which will actually like plan attacks on other
Yeah.
Yes.
groups of chimpanzees.
Other colonies.
Yeah,
Fucking
Is that
raid 'em.
evil or is that just to do with territory?
that's totally to do with territory.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like a natural instinct. It's
But
not like
it's just because we're talking about like, do animals have like a
Well,
will
okay,
to,
okay.
to commit violence on each other if
So
they're not
I'm gonna
hungry?
get into pseudo primatologist mode here right now.
Okay.
Mm.
Pseudo,
Taking a
so that
new
means I'm
approach.
fake. Fuck, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But I'm gonna be talking shit.
We never know what the fuck we're.
Yeah,
don't
we
know
never
what the fuck we're talking
Let's
about.
just make that clear here. Like we never really know what the fuck we're talking
But what
about.
I wanna
So nobody
say-
take us
Does
too seriously.
anybody
Down
Exactly.
to,
Nobody knows the fuck talking.
like,
nobody knows what the fuck they're talking
when
about.
chimp
let's just talk.
colonies,
Let's
when
just
chimp
fucking-
Yeah, let's just
colonies,
talk, man.
Exactly.
when chimp colonies attack other chimps, is that because of circumstances such as environmental conditions worsening, and so they need to secure resources because they have an understanding
Makes
of
sense.
resources, they have an understanding of their environment, they have an understanding of their spatial inhabitants, and so of that, and I think they would, because chimps know where food comes from. They get food somewhere.
Oh yeah,
And
don't they teach chimps to do like pretty like
Yeah, like
intricate shit?
if chimps have been shown to be able to teach other chimps,
Dude,
so I think
they
there's an
actually have better memories
intelligence.
than us in some aspects.
I think
yeah.
there's intelligence at the very least with chimps understanding spatial awareness, and with that spatial awareness, there becomes understanding of the qualitative qualities. That's a really weird thing to say of that space they're understanding. And so when they see that, oh hey, like maybe we don't understand it because we don't have a chimp's perspective, but maybe they can understand, hey, oh this section of the forest ain't doing that so well. I gotta secure more resources. Let's fuck the boys up from colony B.
I think
the
it's
palms.
strictly territorial.
don't know.
Yeah.
Like I don't think it is possible, but I'm sure there's.
I think they. I think
I'm
there's.
just saying. What I'm going through here is the notion of, is there things
so like
that we
say
don't
no,
see yet
I think
that
it's
are
both.
happening?
Like why can't it be both? Like,
well, but like
So like, say you have your territory, right? But like, okay, this has been a bad fucking summer or something like that, and it's all dried out, and you don't have fucking all the food, or like, there's, you know, it's something affected your resources.
But you think about this: if these groups of fucking chimpanzees were so close to each other that they can actually go and attack each other, then how would their area be any different from the other groups of chimpanzees area? Like if the whole forest is
fire or like something.
yeah, but that
like
you know,
something
like how fucking far are these chimpanzees gonna go travel to
I'm
go
not-
fuck up another?
See, this is what I'm saying.
Well,
like,
let's say there was a
hold
fire
up,
that
hold up,
pushed
hold
them
up.
out of their
Hold
region.
up, hold up.
They
But
had
this
to
is
go
like
to enemy region.
This is kind of what I was
I
saying.
don't know
If
if there's any
Nah,
evidence of
man.
that. I think it's just strictly they, you know, they're neighboring territories.
I don't think
They
there's
have
like
to kind of-
one like answer. I think it's like
Yeah.
you know, this is like everything. It's complex. There's things that
Yeah.
feed into everything. So it's like, yeah, it's probably not. They're not going to be 100% driven by like a loss of resources, but like, you know, it could be like
'Cause
a little bit
mostly-
of this, a little bit of that. Maybe there's a little bit of pressure on the food. Maybe there's a little bit of this. Maybe there's like tensions between this tribe and that tribe for whatever reason. Like,
Yeah, it's like yo man, like
yo, what if these tribes had beef? Yo,
Yeah.
like this. What if yo? Do you think?
what
this
if
could-
like one
yo,
fucking
okay, yo.
female chimp went out, and they're like yo fucking Stacy, like
Yo, I saw Stacy down in the boondocks.
yeah,
fucking-
man, what the fuck, bro? Like yo, let's go fuck them
Let's go
up.
fuck them
Let's
up.
go
They're taking
fuck
our
them
girl,
up.
yo.
They're taking our best one, Stacy.
Yeah.
Like, she raised 5 chimps last year. And we- it's like,
Yo,
Oh.
Billy, were you thinking about Wolverines?
No. Oh, maybe. I don't know, but I don't think so.
why Wolverines just fuck shit up for
They just-
fun?
Yeah,
It's fun.
I think there's like a good handful
Wolverines
of animals
are
that do that.
fucking-
What about a honey badger? Those things are
Honey
nuts.
badgers don't give a fuck.
Yeah, they don't
Yeah.
It might have been a
fuck.
badger. I don't
They're
know.
the most badass.
Might
Dude,
be.
have you seen that honey badger video? Is insane. It's
The one with-
it goes through so much shit and just sleeps it off, and like fucking like gets bit by like a poisonous snake, and it's like sleeping, and then it's back to his shit. Like
Yeah.
it goes into like a bee's nest and gets fucked, and then just. Chills.
I've seen one where it's in a fight with like a lion and like a hyena and shit.
What?
It's got its guts like popping out, but it's still like
takes a
vicious as
nap,
fuck.
and like,
Like it's still going. It's not backing down one bit.
Dude, honey badger, dude.
They're the most fiercest animal.
I gotta see me.
I watched the whole like documentary on them. They're
Billy,
fierce.
have you not
fucking
seen
dope.
this video yet?
The
Probably
honey badger
not.
video, man. Dude, it's iconic,
Oh,
man.
Oh, I
That
feel like you
sounds-
gotta watch it.
I feel like I need to watch it. Yeah.
Reaction
Okay,
video.
Yeah.
should we just play it right now?
It's gonna
We
make you
should.
appreciate honey badgers so much.
Oh, dude,
I have respect for honey badgers.
Yeah. I never knew shit about honey badgers. I thought they're just like some weak little shits, but
Nah.
they're tough as fuck.
Even
man.
lions don't.
Imagine, okay,
fuck
imagine
with
you had
them
a
that
honey
much.
badger that was like the size of a wolf or something.
That'd be
How
fun.
much
Check it
shit
out.
would that fuck up, dude? Like,
Oh man.
it would be unstoppable.
Be like a death
It would
robot.
take over humans at that point.
This is the gayest narrator I've ever heard.
It's
Yeah,
quite,
that's kind of
quite
what makes
gay,
the
yes.
video dope.
Southwest Asia. Jeez.
Where's this from?
This guy's awesome. Narration by Randall. Oh, no wonder.
Randall.
Randall, hey y'all.
You see,
hilarious.
this honey badger knows that there's a snake. there.
The fuck?
We'll link this video in the description
Look,
below.
these baboons are fascinating.
I feel like most people would know it.
These baboons are fascinating.
Is this it though?
They're not even
I don't
Yeah,
think
this is the one I saw.
Okay.
But just re-narrated.
there
No,
we
I
go.
like the
See?
what I saw. Is,
I remember when we were just fuck shit up. I'm just waiting for the fuck shit up.
the narration makes it funnier in my opinion.
You almost don't see it coming, kind of
Yeah,
thing.
Are flourishing ones again.
There's a
Look at this.
snake. Like, it's like, you know, it's like
And I don't remember these images in the corner.
Slithering up the tray.
slithering up the
Yeah,
tray.
just-
Like,
Think I care? I'm gonna climb right up this tree and eat your ass. Yes. Honey badger right up in a tree. You think anything's gonna stop a honey badger when it's hungry? Nothing. This tree means absolutely nothing.
What the?
As I told you before. Oh, there we go. And with nowhere else to go,
dude, he's got that fucking snake shook, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this thing go.
The snake's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, don't you realize I can like kill you with my poison?
up, there we go.
Wow.
There we go.
Looks like a
Honey
little
badger
fucking.
just.
Is that a
Ooh,
cobra?
gosh, takes what it
It's a
wants.
poisonous snake for sure.
Starts smothering.
Because it like knocks him out after it bites him, but then he just wakes back up and keeps going.
He just keeps going.
Like,
Holy shit.
Dang, he's biting its head.
Gosh, the-
holy shit!
Just ripped its head off and starts eating it.
really had. Oh gosh.
Damn.
Doesn't give a fuck.
This isn't the video I wanted to show you. I want to play another one after
Yeah,
this.
yeah, for sure.
Oh, talk about getting scraps. Look, here comes the cheetah. Cheetah's like Is there a
See,
honey
the cheetah
badger
gets
around
honey
here?
badger scraps.
I smell honey badger stink. Me too. Here comes a pack of wild pups. See, everyone knows that there's a honey badger around. Even lionesses know. Then there's also some tasty treats and snacks and scraps. Hey, what'd y'all find?
Look at the lions. They don't even
I'm
fuck with the honey
eating other
badgers.
predators.
They're probably
Oh,
homies.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, the lionesses don't.
Look at the
even
fucking
like
honey
predators.
badgers.
He's fucking
It's
with the
yeah,
It's
lion.
fucking with the lion. That's awesome.
You
Dude.
think we care? We don't.
Dude, the lion could fuck him up.
It's so easy.
I don't care how badass the
I
honey
know.
badger is.
But
they'll-
the honey badger has them shook almost. Like,
his persona.
Yeah,
is
he's just
so
a fucking-
fucking.
Here, isn't it wonderful?
He's way. His persona's a lot bigger than he looks.
exactly. Dude. And
Dude,
he's
that's
like
cool.
nearly fucking invincible.
Honey badgers, they don't care. I love it.
It's pretty cool.
Wait.
Maybe they have fucked with honey badgers before, but then when they went to sleep, fucking just like 100 honey badgers came in and
Oh.
fucked them. And
Maybe,
they're like,
yeah, maybe there's like a fucking underground squad of honey
Whoa,
badgers
honey
that
badger
keeps
takes
all
on
the other
6
animals in
lions.
check.
oh, dude.
Is it?
No, that's one we just
You know, there
watched.
must be, man, because otherwise, why the fuck would
Yeah,
they
why,
be scared,
why would a
man?
group
No,
of
it's
lions
okay.
fucking be sketched
Can you
out by a-
imagine seeing that, though? Just like a fucking, like,
Yeah.
swarm of honey badgers just, like, hounding.
There's just like this. It's like
Oh,
an
this is it,
Illuminati
this is it.
of fucking.
Yo, this is it.
Watch out,
The
says
Skull and
that
Bones
bird.
Society.
Ew, it's got a snake. Oh, it's chasing a jackal. Oh my gosh. Oh, the honey badgers are just crazy. The honey badger has been referred to by the Guinness Book of World Records as the most fearless animal in all of the animal kingdom. It really doesn't give a shit. If it's hungry, it's hungry. Ew, what's that in its mouth? Oh, it's got a cobra. Oh, it runs backwards. Oh, what's this? Like a snake's up in the tree. Honey badger
Oh,
don't care. Honey badger don't give a shit. It just takes what it wants. Whenever it's hungry, it just ew, and it eats snakes. Oh my god, watch it dig. Look at that digging. The honey badger is really pretty badass. They have no regard for any other animal whatsoever. Look, it's just grunting and ew, eating snakes. Ew, what's that, a mouse? Oh, that's nasty. Oh, they're so nasty. Ooh, look, it's chasing things and eating them. The honey badgers have a fairly long body, but a distinctly thick set, broad shoulders, and, you know, their skin is loose, allowing them to move about freely. They twist around. Now look, here's a house full of bees. You think the honey badger cares? It doesn't give a shit.
It doesn't give a
Goes right to
shit.
the house of bees to get some larvae. How disgusting is that? It eats larvae. Ew, that's so nasty. But look, the honey badger doesn't care. It's getting stung like 1,000 times. It doesn't give a shit. It's hungry. It doesn't care about being stung by bees. Nothing can stop the honey badger when it's hungry. Oh, what a crazy fuck. Look. Ew, it's eating larvae. That's disgusting. There it is, running in slow motion again. See?
Damn, dude.
Now, what's interesting is that other animals, like these birds here, they just like to wait around until the honey badger's done eating, and then it swoops in to pick up the scraps. It says, you do all the work for us, honey badger, and we'll just eat whatever you find. How's that? What do you say, stupid? Look at this bird. Thanks for the treat, stupid. Hey, come back here, says the honey badger. Birds don't care, and you know what? The jackals do too. Look at these little dogs. They're like, thanks, stupid. Thanks for the mouse. See you later. The honey badger does all the work while these other animals just pick up the scraps. At nighttime, the honey badger goes hunting because it's hungry. Look, here comes a fierce battle between a king cobra and a honey badger.
Okay, I think this is where it
wonder
gets
what'll happen.
bit.
Look at this. There's the honey badger just eating a mouse. And then look, get away from me, says the snake. Get away from me. Honey badger don't care. Honey badger smacks the shit out of it. The snake comes back and it lashes right at the honey badger. Oh, little does the honey badger know, FYI, it's been stung. It's been bitten by the snake, so while it's eating the snake, ew, that's disgusting. Meanwhile, the poisonous venom is seeping through the honey badger's body, and it passes out. Now the honey badger's just gonna pass out for a few minutes, and then it's gonna get right back up and start eating all over again because it's a hungry
Wow,
little
yo.
bastard. Look at this. Like nothing
That was
happened.
fast.
The honey badger gets right back up and continues eating the cobra. How disgusting. And of course, what does the honey badger have to eat for the next 3 weeks? Cobra, the honey badger.
Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they're badass.
Honey badger don't give a fuck.
They don't give a fuck. They don't give a
Damn.
shit.
If I got bit by a fucking cobra, man, that's the last
We'd
of
be,
me.
we'd be
man.
dead. We'd be all dead.
I ain't gonna.
I wonder if they're like
Not
kind
forever.
of. Are they kind of similar to Komodo dragons where they're just like immune to a lot of shit?
Probably.
It's
gotta be immune.
I have
Or
no
wait,
idea.
maybe no. Komodo dragons aren't immune to a lot of shit, are they?
I don't know.
They just have that really potent fucking like.
Yeah, they're
Saliva.
saliva
It's,
because
like,
of
toxic.
bacteria.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
an insane amount of bacteria. Should we do
That's
some?
wild.
You guys know about Mithridates?
What's that?
Mithridates?
Never heard of it. What is that?
Mithridates? You know that
I feel
Dota
like I've
item,
seen
right?
someone's gamer name like that.
Okay, never mind.
No.
That's not even relevant. So he was this ancient Pointic. Pointic is a Greco-Turkish kind of like culture group in northern Anatolia. So think like the Black Sea, in the southern part of the Black Sea, in that coast of northern Turkey. And
I know
he was this
Anatolia's
ancient
gay.
king that
Oh, fucking.
that went toe to toe with Rome a bunch of times.
King
But
King.
another thing that he was known for, from just going to war with Rome and being on equal footing a lot of the times, is that he would continually administer poisons and toxins to his body to build up
Oh,
immunity
yeah.
to several things over time. And
I think I've heard of that.
He concocted like this elixir of like various venoms and poisons because he was at fear of assassination. And he also wanted to know like more about the human body and how to like safeguard it, right?
Yeah.
And
He never killed himself by doing that.
no, I'm pretty sure he lost in battle or some shit.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought for sure, like,
And he
probably injected too much venom one day.
apparently he would wow dinner guests by taking known venomous animals and having them bite him. Be like, it ain't a thing, bud.
for a bit.
I'm a fucking god.
And he's fucking
And
paralyzed.
he was the king of a kingdom, right?
Wow.
Like this guy had big balls. He was like,
Yeah.
That's pretty dope.
I mean, I think if you, I mean, it depends on what you're trying to do with, I guess. But like, I think most snake venoms and shit like that. Don't a lot of people already do that? Like, I think it's if you do it
Yeah,
smartly,
well,
it's like it's pretty
They
safe.
like extract snake venom
Yeah.
to like somehow
For some
they can
medical
antidote it. I don't know.
purposes, yeah, right? I can't remember. exactly.
Yeah, I see this shit all the time. They put in the fucking fangs on the
Yeah.
this guy was
they're
doing it
milking the
before
venom,
he knew the
yeah.
biology.
yeah,
of
no,
it.
Yeah,
that's
that's true.
dope. He's like a pioneer.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
like,
But it's just funny because
And
he
it's
could have
dope
been.
because the pioneer was a king who used himself as a subject.
yeah.
You know how probably never gonna see that again.
That's
Yeah.
a king I want to fucking.
That's the
Drink a
king
beer
we
with?
need right now.
Yeah,
We need some
exactly.
shit like that.
Guy
Yeah.
just taking snake bites
Yeah.
and shit.
We need somebody like that right now.
You think Donald
Straight
Trump would fucking take
No,
a
Fuck
snake
no,
bite?
man.
No, man.
And all that hydrochloroquine
Chloroquine,
shit, that's
yeah.
just posturing. He's not actually taking it. I
Yeah,
doubt it.
I doubt he's
There's no
taking that
way
shit.
the White House surgeon is fucking allowing
Recommending
him
that shit.
to do that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you
He's
Trump.
taking
I bet
fucking
you Trump
Agent
doesn't even
Orange, man.
believe this shit.
No.
Dude, deep down, I bet you Trump doesn't even think there's anything going on.
I think
And
Trump.
I would half agree with him. I mean, not that there's nothing going, like, not that there's no new, like, strain of virus possibly swimming around.
That there's something more to it.
I don't think Trump
I'm not
has
opening
a
this can of
fucking
worms. I
backbone
don't
in
want
his
to talk about
body.
Corona this episode.
Yeah.
There's too much Corona talk going on anyways.
Yeah, let's see what's up on Reddit.
Is it time for a Reddit segment?
Yeah, I gotta take
Reddit
a quick
segment.
bathroom.
All
Let's
right.
do it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, bro.
All right. We'll see you in 4 minutes.
yeah.
4 minutes and 20 seconds. All right, this is Reddit World News. The top
First
headline
thing you see
is we're gonna have to talk about it. Yeah, is from Vice.com. Somehow
Can't avoid this shit,
this
man.
wild hoax Bill Gates anti-vax video doesn't violate YouTube's policies. The video is obviously faked, but it's still setting the anti-vax internet on fire. Have you guys seen this video?
No.
I have not
but
seen this
I feel
video.
like, whatever.
Is it just some doctored?
I feel like I feel like this is a double whammy covert.
Bill Gates briefing the CIA. That's the still on the Vice
I
page.
feel like this is the CIA putting in conspiracy theorists to make conspiracy theorists look bad. But
I can see that.
let's see this. Let's see it.
Do you want to watch the video?
Well, no, it's here. What do you want to read the story? Or?
I'll read the first 4 paragraphs.
Sure.
Okay, so the headline was, let's go again. Somehow this wild hoax Bill Gates anti-vax video doesn't violate YouTube's policies. Subtitle, the video is obviously faked, but still setting the anti-vax internet on fire. By Tess Owen. A bonkers hoax video about Bill Gates has been making the rounds on social media, and it's setting the anti-vax conspiracy world on fire. The video claims to show Gates briefing the CIA in 2005 about a vaccine to immunize religious fanatics. The video, which is obviously faked, is getting gobbled up by online conspiracy theorists who have latched onto the Microsoft co-founder as the mastermind behind the coronavirus pandemic.
I think he is involved. Maybe.
I don't even want to get into that. I mean,
Well, okay, whatever.
you have to bring up some evidence or like
Well,
some...
he's tied to all the funding, and he's tied to all like the people that have been. Dude, okay, so what? Okay, I'm not going to get too into it, but what do you think about this? So I think back in November, or I can't remember exactly, but late 2019, they had the 201 event. You were the 201 event.
What's the 201 event?
201 event was Bill Gates and a few other organizations. I think the Chinese, like CDC, whatever theirs is,
Okay.
and a few other entities, I think connected with the World Health Organization,
Yeah.
and a bunch of other people that were basically all front companies of the World Health Organization. Had an event doing viral, like they did this whole scenario. They did like this whole, they modeled this whole scenario.
Okay.
They did all this, everything that we're seeing right now, they did
Yeah.
and talked about, and they made whole like fucking like, there was a huge, you can watch it, you can probably pull it up, you can find it, Event 201. And then
Yeah.
later on, he was asked by journalists, not directly about Event 201, but and just about like current, like the coronavirus stuff.
Yeah.
And his remark would suggest that he had no knowledge of the Event 201, because the question would have been what they did at Event 201, but he was pretending like it never happened. So what, do you have any thoughts on that? Or I guess you don't know anything about it.
But I mean, like,
So why would Bill Gates be like lying that he had previous knowledge of this? Because it looks bad, or
well, I'd
Why would
say
he lie at all?
Occam's razor is. I haven't seen the video itself of Gates being questioned, but Occam's razor to me would say that Gates does a lot of publicity events and he's get asked a lot of things, and he does a lot of events.
how do
throughout each
do
year.
you forget? And that's like his passion. His like isn't his new pat. I'm not saying like we know him or something, but his passion.
Was he on the panel talking at the event? Like, I'm just trying to think of like, if it was hosted by the World Economic Forum and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, right? He was probably there, but was he functionally like doing?
I don't know, but I know he's super into this shit, and he has.
I know, yeah,
passion.
he is too, yeah.
He's super into this shit, and if you're renewing your funding and you're
I mean,
funding this
I'm
thing
gonna have to see the video.
if
like,
you're funding these
questioning.
not just this event, but if you're funding these programs for multiple years, like you're really into, I'm pretty sure he knows what's going on with it.
I want to see this video that you're talking about.
It wasn't a video. It was I saw it.
I'm unsure about Bill Gates. Like, I know he's doing a lot of good like
See, that's
philanthropy work and stuff, but
Well,
like, he's always,
what's
like,
wrong about Bill Gates? Tell me, what's wrong about Bill Gates?
well, for one, he has a lot of political
just-
power with his philanthropy work,
Of course, that's why they do it.
and so there's always,
Yeah.
you know, yeah, but it's like, so if that's why they do it, then what is?
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you
No,
off.
go ahead.
bro.
Go
What
ahead.
would you
I don't
do
have
if you
much
had
to
a
say.
lot of
I'm
money?
just saying, like, why
Sorry?
do these people get? Why do like people? I don't know who these people are, but like people in this like light, whatever light that is, that Bill Gates is in. Why do they always seem to get like an automatic pass of trust? Like, even though people question them.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you in giving automatic pass of trust.
Especially when
but
we're
if you-
trusting people with making vaccines. and
Sure,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
I do think that like charities often do get a carte blanche authority from the public that they're good,
And it comes with that ignorance we're talking
and
about.
I think that's just kind of a public cultural construct of like I think there's an inclination to want to trust charities on the face value of things.
Anyways, I'm just saying,
But
like.
no, let me say that like on the face value of things, you'd want to trust the charity, right?
Well, yeah, you would
That
like
ma-
to
that makes
believe
sense.
things around you are
And
nice,
so
but they're
when,
not.
when you hear someone saying they want to do good, you're going to take it at face value until proven otherwise. I think that's just the inclination of it. And that's why there's this, what you're describing, ability, an automatic default to trusting, let's say in this case, Bill Gates, because he wants to do all this philanthropy. And I posit to people who want to denigrate, take them down, to provide evidence contrary to that. That's just it.
Do you think someone like Bill Gates would give up his entire wealth if it meant some sort of benefit to humanity?
Like saving the world.
It is. Isn't that what he's doing more or less?
No, dude. No.
Well,
Okay.
no,
Hold on,
like,
hold on,
like,
hold
if
on.
he was given a,
Like he's giving up
Dude,
not all of his wealth,
so
but
when
he's
I
giving
was-
up like half of it.
no, he's not.
Okay.
Dude, they're so full of shit. So this was ah man, I
Okay, well then go.
I'm
Tell me
trying.
and educate me.
I was trying to show you this the other day, but I can't find where I saw this shit. But another thing that really was like, yo, this is all bullshit, is the whole funding thing, man. All the funding coming
mic,
from
your
Bill and
mic.
Melinda
Your
Gates.
mic, your mic.
If you trace the money that they're, sorry, but if you trace the money that the Melinda Gates Foundation is putting into all this shit, it literally, if you actually follow it, it just circles right back into their own pocket. It literally.
I believe that.
it
Okay, well you
circles
gotta show
right-
me. You gotta show me because
Yeah, no, I will.
that's a strong
Yeah,
statement,
and
right?
I will
Without
show,
a doubt.
and
You
I will
choose
show
any
you,
organization.
and I will
Well,
show you. But look,
yeah.
we've been kind of bantering on this, not so much you, but like me and John, the last like day and a half.
Yeah, you
or
know that.
whatever.
I've kept out of it.
And the point is, like, I haven't looked at this shit in months. I have an opinion formed off things I seen like months ago, so it's
Yeah.
not fresh in my mind. But I still have an opinion
But do
on
you
it.
see this on the internet?
Well, yeah, of course I saw it on the
Okay,
internet.
and then,
you know.
but I just want to question the veracity of that the validity.
Most of these things are coming from the World Health Organization. I question
Okay.
them.
Yeah.
I'm not listening to some tinfoil hat fucking asshole on
So
YouTube.
I'm asking like
I
no,
actually
I'm
read
talking about
shit.
the funding thing, with the circular
that was a
funding.
news. That was a news article. It was a reputable news source. It was a reputable. I'll find it. I'll find it and
Yeah,
show
yeah,
you. It's just, these are things this shit I've seen like months ago. So it's not like I have it like ready, but I have an opinion. And it's not even unique to this shit. But yeah.
I just wouldn't trust billionaires in general. I don't think we should have billionaires, personally.
Yeah, you guys ever see that? Meme?
There's a quality in it. Like if you
Yeah.
have that like.
You guys ever see that meme of where that guy tweets, we should just give people a trophy once they hit $999 million, and after that, every dollar just gets spent towards public goods.
Yeah.
And the trophy says, "You won capitalism. Congratulations."
That'd be great.
Yeah, I've heard someone say that before. I didn't know it was.
That'd be funny. I wouldn't necessarily mind that.
If you are a greedy person, you will automatically do better in capitalism than if you were
Yeah, 'cause
somebody
you're
that
pursuing
was.
the
Yeah.
one of the
So,
primary.
you know,
And that's like the biggest issue, man. It's like
Values
we
in
have
it.
so many, all the issues in our world. I think are very, everything that's wrong in our world or that we perceive as wrong or that we don't like and that we think we can do better in. We have the means to do it like right now.
Oh, for sure, dude. We have the means to
And it's just greedy,
not have hunger in
it's
the world,
greedy
not to
motherfuckers
have
who have too much
poor
and they don't know
education
what
throughout
to do
every-
with it.
Yeah.
classroom in this world.
So
we
they
just don't
pamper
do it because
themselves.
we don't give a
Well,
fuck.
and then you look
enough.
at-
we just
Yeah.
don't. Like we're too comfortable. The people who have the means to do it were largely too comfortable to want to seek
And they don't
better
have the
treatment
motives.
for others.
Yeah.
And they don't have the motive.
Well, yeah,
Oh, for
'cause-
sure.
yeah, it's.
They would lose out on their own.
Well, not only
I don't know.
that-
I don't know if it's a zero
No.
sum thing that they lose out on.
I don't think
I
they
think
lose
they
out.
just don't care.
That and they're also probably
Yeah.
ignorant.
Yeah, that's it. If they, and so yeah, if they weren't ignorant, they
Not all
wouldn't
of
feel
them,
the
but
same.
a lot of them.
But like, I think it's very human. Like I learned this when I went to North Korea, and I overheard a discussion between a mother and another, like a Western mother and a North Korean mother, where they were talking about how all at the end of the day they just want what's best for their children, and that's a universal thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
And so there's qualities to the human experience that are universal, and wanting better for your children is what I think one of those universal things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
like if people weren't so ignorant of other cultures, of other situations, of other people, then we would be a lot more close, and I think we would collectively, and collective is a strong operative word here,
Yeah.
be better off.
Well, because like
Because we work together, but we
different
don't
cultures-
because of like because of fear, because of narratives set up by media and people who control the media, certain groups with strong strength in the media that have
Big
intentions.
pharma.
And so ultimately, I just want to say that like it's not like that because people don't want it to be like that for whatever reasons, for capitalistic reasons, for reasons that they think maybe in
Control,
their
power.
head is more zero sum than it really is,
Yeah.
and they act in that way because they think it is zero sum, and they
Right.
want to make sure that their position is
Their
safeguarded.
status quo is.
Yeah, well, not-
maintained.
Not so much the status quo,
I
but
don't know
the
if status quo,
integrity
but,
of
like-
their fucking kids' experience.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I feel like we're talking a lot of different
Yeah,
points
different
at this
points.
moment.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I was saying,
when
like-
you're saying people are gonna do what's best for their kids, right?
people are going to do what's best for them, and that may
Like their best
extend to their
interest,
kids.
yeah, the best interest
Yeah.
for like their well-being.
Yeah.
Like if you're a dictator, in charge of whatever, like you're gonna, try to maintain that. You know what I mean?
Anywho, let's go on to the next topic.
All right. What's the next headline?
This one's kind of dry to me, sort of, but not really.
This thing's in the way.
So the second headline is from DW.com. I actually don't know what it is. DW.com. Who is that?
You said
DW. What is DW?
it says at the top. No. Story.
Anyways,
Okay.
it looks like it's a German media company. The headline is Benjamin Netanyahu corruption trial to begin in Israel. The Israeli public will see its prime minister in the dock for the first time as Benjamin Netanyahu. Long-awaited corruption trial begins on Sunday. So he's a long-running former Israeli PM who did a lot of shady shit, and a lot of people dislike him because he handled the Israel-Palestine situation in a way that was very anti-Palestinian, very anti-human rights.
Right.
A lot of people would argue, especially on the left, especially with people who would like to see Palestinians treated better. And so, but not just that, but along with a whole host of other things in his administration that I can't necessarily get into because I'm not Israeli and I didn't really follow it as much, and it's not really my backyard to like really be interested in Israeli things. But that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know if you guys have comments on that.
I don't know enough about
Yeah, I don't
his
know.
corruption.
Yeah, I don't know
and what
nothing about
happened.
that.
Yeah.
But,
I don't even know
wait,
who the fuck you're
what side is it? This is the
DW.com.
No, but this guy's is he's from Israel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prime Minister
Yeah.
was.
And he did unjust things towards Palestinians.
Yeah.
That and other stuff.
Another
Okay.
shady
Oh,
thing.
a lot of stuff. Here. Let's go to his Wikipedia page and just go under the sections listed out. Let's see what. Let's see
Did he
what's
do
there.
anything against Israeli people? Or just Palestinians?
Let's see.
Was he like scamming the Israeli people out of their money and shit too? Like he didn't give a fuck about nobody?
Okay, sorry, I got a little political with my statement there. What he's really been indicted on is breach of trust, bribery, and fraud.
Breach of trust, bribery, and fraud. Okay. So basically, he's just doing things for himself
Yeah.
and like taking advantage of his position, basically.
Corruption charges.
Bitch ass.
Just another
Looks
corrupt
like
politician.
we're gonna have to take a couple lift breaks. so-
Netanyahu
Yeah,
lost
I need
favor
to
the
get-
Israeli,
Yeah, me
Israeli
too.
public
Yeah,
after a
smoke
long
some.
chain of scandals involving his
Smoke.
marriage
Let's
and
do it,
corruption
huh?
charges. In '97, police recommended that he be indicted on corruption charges for influence peddling. He was also accused of appointing attorney
What
general.
was that called? Influence peddling?
Influence peddling.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
so money in politics,
Yeah.
lobbying. But in a way that's not sanctioned by the state, apparently.
Hmm.
So he was accused of appointing an attorney general, an AG,
Read
who would
between
reduce
the
the
lines,
charges,
Yeah.
but prosecutors
Oh, no, you
ruled
went a
that there was
little too far with all that,
insufficient
bro.
evidence. So he
Fucking
tried getting
a little
himself
bit's
off
okay.
using his own
Should've
judge.
kicked me back some.
Yeah, bro.
In
like-
'99, he faced another scandal when the Israeli police recommended he be tried for corruption for $100,000 in free services from a government contractor. The AG chose not to prosecute, citing difficulties with evidence. Yeah,
All right.
that was just the first bout.
You know who he sounds like? Christy Clark.
Yeah, Christy Clark was fucking corrupted as shit, dude. Dude, fucking.
I don't know why, but just like hearing that story, I just had like a flashback of like, I don't even know how old I was.
Look, I just want to say, like,
Listen to the
if we're gonna
news
talk
and
about
hearing Chrissy
politics,
Clark get
BC
busted.
politics quickly. For some of the handling of like rideshare and like, maybe the pipeline depends on your position. I think John Horgan's done a pretty decent job in our province.
Yeah.
Pretty decent.
You know,
I think he's
I'm
ready the
grateful
ship.
for the fucking no more poles on bridges and shit. That's dope.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
was
cool.
pretty dope.
Like, there's certain things that I think they've done well.
That's all I really know.
Yeah, I
what he
don't know.
did.
I don't
Like,
You know,
Follow
I'm actually
politics,
I'm half
unfortunately.
ashamed to say, but
Oh,
half
yeah.
don't give a fuck. But like, I really have no clue what goes down with like
BC
local
politics?
politics,
Yeah.
or even
Yeah,
like
me neither.
even like Canada, really. Like,
Well, that might be that may be a function that like our
But it-
politics are so stable that they're not making newsworthy kind of.
well, it's
Things.
not like I know what's going on. I just don't follow like who did what's going on. Like, you know, what are they trying to lobby right now? I find out like a fucking when it gets passed, and I'm like, oh fuck those guys. Like,
Yeah.
so like, I mean, I kind of know what's going on, but I don't follow it like live. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean, they did quite a bit for BC as like for like during the coronavirus and all that. Like, I think they were giving out rent subsidies and stuff. And
Well, yeah, I got the rent. I'm being under review for the rent subsidy.
yeah,
So we all got like the free $1,000, I assume. Yeah.
oh, they give
I-
you,
Yeah.
I got
Yeah,
2
I got it.
racks.
I didn't get anything.
What?
Maybe I should. Yo, can you cut that out?
Yeah.
Yo, actually, no. You should please cut that out. But
Wait, you got the Serb?
they were sending me 2 racks.
Yeah, that's the Serb.
Yeah, no, that's
normal.
it.
Yeah, I
There's
got
a
you.
separate
Oh, there's another
provincial
one.
one.
Yeah, just for
So you got the
BC.
federal 2 racks,
Yeah,
which is like good because
Okay.
you are
You should apply
affected.
for the BC. You get $1,000
And that the
non-tax.
special about this one is that it's
Dude,
not
our
taxed.
economy is so fucked.
Like,
No. Our economy would be way more fucked if we didn't do this.
Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
Brandon. None of this should have ever fucking happened, really, in the first place. But okay, dude. Okay, imagine this. We could have had. Okay, say all of this was real.
Okay, yeah.
Say the numbers were real. We could have been way more effective with better strategies. We didn't have to shut everything down. Dude.
I'm not even getting to that. I'm not getting to
We
that
could
can of
have
worms.
no, dude.
Can of
Okay,
worms thing lid
Yeah.
shut tight.
dude. Just think about it. You don't even have to get into it. Just think about it real quick. If you put all the resources we use on everybody and focus them on the group that actually needs them, and focus just on them, and everyone else has like a 0.5% risk of dying, dude, we already know it's asymptomatic. We already know it's fucking everywhere.
Well, it could have been that the health authorities found out that they didn't have the resources to even beef up the nursing care facilities and the home care facilities to withstand a full-blown infection rate. And maybe that's why they chose, instead of having a
even
bunch
if
of
they
people
didn't.
die, like in those facilities that we're talking about directly, which where it did happen and they were unprepared for it, swaths of people
yeah,
did die. That they chose.
I don't want to
the
stay
early
on this too
caution.
long. I just wanted to brush
Yeah.
like that idea real quick. But like, even if that were, yeah, that's definitely true. We were completely unprepared. Like again, things are
They
more
took the
complicated
cautious
than-
route, and I don't necessarily blame them. Like
I don't
I think it's
I don't
better.
think that's more cautious. I think that's just kind of dumb. But
No,
anyways.
I think that's like, we don't know all the numbers, you and I, but I would imagine that the health authorities here in BC saw that they weighed the options of, do we do the Sweden route where we let things operate as normal and everyone has to
Well, I'm not s-
like everyone has to like be on their like on the ball about minimizing, you know, infection, right? Like, and I think
Yeah.
Sweden, that was the ball that they were on, where they're like, hey, fucking use your common sense, don't go out if you're sick, stay away from nursing homes, let's focus on them, right? Like, I think, like, for BC, they saw that, or they saw we can go on lockdown and we can try to nip it in the bud. And like,
Well, yeah, but going on lock.
and you also have to understand, like, for someone like in the premier office, they have to consider, like, there is political currency being used here as well, right? With the fact that, do I go against the grain with the whole world and risk my political career post-COVID, or do I go with the grain in this instance, which is the safer option, right? And then, yes, there will be economic consequences, and maybe they weren't necessarily thinking that, because I think sometimes in health pandemics, there's a strong emotional current that goes in as well, and that may
Well,
play a factor.
Part of my point, well, not part of my point, but just like one thing I've noticed is like, dude, I've seen more people probably under 30 wearing masks and shit than I have people seeing like 60, 70. Like why are the younger, like if we were really like
Yeah?
all working, yeah.
I see more old people wearing masks, and Asians and
I
old
see,
people.
Okay,
everyone's wearing them.
my-
But I'm just saying there's too much resource, like if you, and this is assuming the numbers are accurate and everything's, you know, the real threat that it is, and it is the situation it is right now. Like there's just too many resources being used for not the right reason.
Okay, but
Could be used for like those.
I don't have a
people.
problem with how Canadian government handle things, because it was never forced upon anyone. It was more just a recommendation that non-essential businesses
Well,
shut
it was
down.
kind of forced on people.
It was
social-
culturally
it was
enforced.
a social standard.
It was a
yeah.
social standard.
but
But if
if
you
you
wanted
don't-
to go
if-
out, you could still very well do that.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at the downtown east side.
But businesses are
Like-
gonna do what everyone else is doing and shut down, and it's just gonna be a trend. It's gonna
Right,
follow.
but just because large swaths of private individuals decided to follow this particular heat doesn't impose liberties on, doesn't mean that your liberties have in
Yes,
itself
and
been
mine weren't,
quashed.
because I continued to go to work even though I wasn't
Just
considered
like,
an
like,
essential
like
service.
one thing that I noticed that a lot of people who've taken issue to the lockdown is that they felt like their liberties were being impressed upon because other people were shutting down services. But they never had those liberties in a sense in the first place, because those were always privileges to go to other people's private businesses to conduct business. It's just that our status quo was always that how open things were, that was the norm. And so that felt like the norm. But in reality, we all were living with privilege to go to these things
And you
to
could
have
say that
society.
because they
it's,
were-
it's an interconnected thing. Like, it's a privilege to have a society
Yeah.
where we are living the way we are in Canada.
Yeah, no doubt.
And what if we didn't lock down, and then it became a problem, and then we had to lock down, and then it would have been way more out of control than it would be
Yeah.
if we did what we
'Cause
did.
we gave it that chance to spread
Yeah.
first. You know
Like
what I mean?
I get what you're saying, Billy. And
Yeah.
like, you know, perhaps because a big part of me thinks about the fact that
But
there's so many unrecorded cases that this death rate that they have is probably seriously inaccurate, right? And so the
there's
actual
more than
like
just
devastation of this virus might be way less than we know, but
it's definitely way less, dude. The models and the guy who
You,
put the
Bill, can you talk closer to Mike?
the models that were used to push the initial push of all
Yeah.
these things, the guy who originally made them was fired because the intellectual community, or like the people who like do this virology shit, like eventually he got like picked apart. Dude, his models were so wrong and so inaccurate and so like unprofessionally like put together.
Okay,
he
we're
was
going to
fired.
get some citations on this.
Yeah, I'll pull that one
Yeah.
up. But I'm just saying, like, the models that were used to induce the fear were globally, and this is accepted by even the people who are still in like the World Health. The guy got fired. He lost his job.
Okay,
we're gonna have to find.
Well, Google that shit, man. Google that shit. Google
let's say
it.
there was some sort of intent to make this blow this out of proportion. What would be the reason for that?
To push vaccinations on people. There's
Okay, yeah.
there's been a vaccination agenda going on for like 10, 20 years, like a really strong one.
Yep.
Like there's
Well,
when I was looking into this shit, I don't look at like what fucking the WHO is saying right now. I look at articles criticizing the WHO from like 10 years ago. That's like, you know, like this shit's been going on. This isn't like new shit. That's how I see it.
Well, and with this whole, because the whole, like how you're talking about how it's become like a society thing where it's like, it's not mandatory, but people might look down upon you if you're, you know, not social distancing, all that shit, right?
It's like best practice, and
yeah.
if you aren't following best practice, we're not gonna like.
And so if they are trying to push a vaccine, this is a perfect platform
Fuck yeah.
to actually get people to sign on to it, because you could easily at this point say, if you want to travel, if you want to do anything, you have to have some sort of identification saying that you were vaccinated.
Dude, it is the perfect way. Yeah, exactly. Because they're gonna get you like in a position where they're gonna have you so scared, and it's gonna be like, okay, well, you either take what we offer you, or.
And also, I've heard that what's the guy's name? The doctor that's like in charge of creating the vaccine. He was back in 1992. They came out with a vaccine for HIV.
He's from British, or I can't remember the name. Sorry. But
They came up with a vaccine for HIV, and they claimed that it was effective, and they actually like fudged data.
Okay, Billy. I can't find this guy.
I'll find it for you. I'll show you
but,
later.
But let me pause it to you. So he was incorrect in his models. Does that then invalidate all other models?
Well, I'm just saying it was the model that based our fear response, and yeah, it does, because when you
And so
actually,
wait, okay, and you're saying that.
But then why was he
you're saying
fired?
that the health organizations around the world
he was basically I don't know
were
exactly that.
using
they're
this
still
guy's
kinda
model
continue
to
that
inform their decision
agenda.
on to act.
Well, because he rocked the boat too much, and people were looking at it. That's why I think he got fired. But I don't know.
Also, like, there's also things like the fact that, like, the WHO is a highly political organization as well.
Yeah.
That's politicized by
They're
powers.
politically driven.
Yeah. But the thing I'm trying to make out here is that, like, you're assuming that the WHO also operates as a monolith within its sub-organizations as well. What if there were people who are of your ilk in the WHO, like that guy?
Oh, I'm sure there are, and,
And
that's
so-
the same
and-
as government.
and so-
there's people who work for government that aren't, like as John's saying, all trying to fucking fudge the data, but they're playing the game and maybe not even realizing the game they're playing. There's a lot of innocent people, a lot of good people meaning to do good, and what their effort results in maybe not good. They might be not even aware they did it.
Sure.
Well, yeah, it's just like the gears in the machine.
Yeah.
They don't know what the fuck the machine's doing, but they're spinning
They're doing their part.
the next gear.
Anyways, I'll link that
Yeah,
to you so you can
we gotta
see
link
it.
this.
It's like
We
in
gotta-
the U.S. military, they have a
It's
culture of
like-
don't ask, don't
Yeah.
tell.
Yeah.
Even people who aren't like anti-corona know of this. Like, dude got fired because his fucking model was like not like, it was irresponsibly put together, and that's what was used to fucking push the initial
Yeah.
campaign of all this shit.
Really?
Well, but the crux of your argument here rests on two things. One, that this guy exists, but two, more importantly,
Oh, he definitely exists.
more importantly, is that the notion that governments, organizations world over relied on this guy's one model.
They do. They've been fundraising and sending the billions of dollars to these guys.
I think other.
But the thing is, not all governments are
Yeah.
following the heat of the WHO.
Yeah,
Number
they're
two,
definitely
Like
there's
Madagascar and what, like
no, like
Tasmania?
no. Look at Taiwan.
Taiwan.
Taiwan has severely criticized the WHO on multiple
Yeah.
occasions.
Okay, so good job for Taiwan.
Yeah, but no. The point I'm trying, and even Brazil has criticized the WHO.
Good
Like
job.
no,
But
but
all these
the
points
thing is,
are-
Brazil and Taiwan are on very opposite ends of the coronavirus situation. So the point I'm trying to make is that like I feel like there's a lot more nuance here, but the way you're presenting things feels very broad stroke, and it feels almost complicit to the same notions that you're calling heed to of fear mongering in the very same statements that you're making is very
Right.
fear mongering like.
Right,
In
I-
broad
I-
strokes.
I see what you're
You-
saying.
you think
I
one-
get what
yeah.
you're saying, 100%. Because like, it's like, this is like the same coin, different side. You know what I mean? Like the way your statement came across. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know
explain
exactly.
it. Explain it.
Well, what you're saying is that like this study was done and it was then
Well,
used.
no, it wasn't a study. It was
This
a
model was
model. This
created.
model was
It was a
done.
model, yeah.
This model was done, and then it was then used by governments world over to then perpetuate or
This
to
fear-based,
solidify,
right.
solidify the merit of going into lockdown using fear.
Right.
Well, basically, yeah. Because people are scared, aren't they?
Right, but then Brandon just pointed out all these other.
But I'm pointing out there's several cases where this isn't necessarily the case because I know this, at least from my interpretation of their words and actions, that they do not subscribe to what you just said.
That doesn't really mean anything.
It does mean something because it contradicts your point.
How?
Because you said all the governments are following whose
No,
model.
you
But no,
No,
that's
no,
what
but
I
no,
said.
no, no, no,
you
you're
don't even need everyone to follow. It's just like we were saying earlier.
It's
You-
the standard.
It's a standard. You just need the majority. You
Yeah.
don't need everybody. It doesn't really matter what.
Wait, so ultimately, do you think coronavirus is a hoax?
I think it's being used as a whether it's a hoax or not. I don't know that.
Okay,
I'm gonna just go off the.
but you're saying it's
assumption-
being politicized, and
yeah,
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah, I don't disagree.
I believe it's being used as a tool to fucking enforce a global, like some sort of bigger agenda. Hell yeah. It seems fucking pretty clear to me.
So you're thinking that the global agenda here, that you're and I'm gonna go on inference on your words that this vaccination that's tied to the coronavirus is nefarious and malicious.
It feels that way to me, yeah.
Okay.
It
Here's the thing. I
stands out
in
there.
ways agree with you because like I question it too. You know what I mean? But
Rightfully so.
I don't know. It's fucking like we might never know, but like
Yeah, we might never know.
questioning it is not necessarily wrong.
Right. Right.
You know, and because it's very possible that there's some
Well,
sort of
especially
malicious
when-
intent behind all this.
Well, you know what's going to be interesting to see is that in the few months when this continues rolling, whether or not a mass vaccination does take place, or
Yeah.
whether like certain states will just see that, oh, we've developed herd immunity through our policies, let's say Sweden, because our policies, and that's how the science has worked out for them, that they have developed herd immunity and so they don't need to do vaccinations.
Right.
Like, so this will be a great testing point for people who
It's
do
gonna-
subscribe to more global Illuminati conspiracy theories. Like,
So
this
we'll
will
see,
be a testing
basically
point.
the proof will be in the pudding in the next couple of months. If
Well,
there is a
might take
global
longer than a couple
campaign,
months.
Yeah, it'll
okay,
be-
but yeah, in the next couple of years.
Take like
years.
at least a
Yeah,
year
let's
or
say 2 years,
so
yeah.
to come
If
out the
they
vaccine.
do-
You can. It's something you can't really put a number. It could be tomorrow. It could be fucking next
Yeah,
year.
but let's say within a.
It's the probability of it happening in the next few years is highly probable.
It could be after our lifetime when they're fucking doing history. You know.
But then,
Well, no,
And then, okay.
no, it's just no. It really rests on whether or not a mass vaccination takes place and what does it look like and what
Something I
are the
wanna ask,
machinations of it.
where-
And that's assuming that that's the only part of the global. Agenda.
Sure, but like, look, if we're
Like,
going to
I'm
be
not
positing,
claiming, like, I know
but
what's
if we're
going
going to be
on.
positing theories here with the observations that we have made on the data that we have seen, then we're going to have to look at this point. Like, we're going to have to look at this again in a year's time in the
Okay.
podcast and see where things are in another year's time after that.
I have a question.
Because we've developed a hypothesis. This is a hypothesis, and the way to see the truth of the hypothesis, as far as we can know, based on what we've thought so far,
Right.
is to wait until
yeah, so
to see
proof
if
will
this
be in the
event takes
pudding,
place.
right? If
That's
they
the way
do
it-
do this push for max vaccination,
like, yes,
then
we
you're
can
right,
pick
they were-
more.
this is
We
what
can
was
pick
planned
more
for.
and
Well, they've
observe
already
more.
been doing that.
And-
Where does the fear of vaccines come from? Because vaccines, in their true nature, are a good thing, right?
Well, so
what
we're
is?
told.
No, but I know, but where?
And yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Like, if it just comes down to like just questioning everything, that's fine. But is there like a genuine fear? Like, and where does that come from?
I think a lot of the fear, for me, where it comes from, it's not even like fully verified because it's just stories I'm hearing off the internet.
Yeah,
or,
well, like-
or even anecdotal experiences of people getting flu shots
I've heard
to
of-
prevent the
yeah.
flu, and then they get sick the next
Like
day.
kids getting vaccines,
they're
and then they're
tying
trying
it
to
to,
link
you know.
that to autism and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that's
Are,
where
like-
most of my fears come from. It's not even, there's no studies showing, so it's probably not even like a legitimate fear. But it's all these fear stories coming at me that's painting this picture of fear.
Because
of
like the way it
vaccines.
looks is that it's just more just a fear of your government and like
Right.
For
authority?
for me, that is kind of what it is. It's like I want to be in full control of this. This is me, right?
Right, rightfully so.
And this is nothing but a biological computer. So, like in my mind, the
You're introducing
implications of
software.
of
Right,
what you could do
right.
with vaccinations.
Yeah.
Is I don't feel like playing that game, and the trade off isn't a good enough.
It's
to
true
me.
because your greater understanding of like your human biology and and how it can be influenced is by these things.
It's not good enough where I'm
Right.
sold that I'm
I
going
see
to
what
take
you're
that
saying.
risk.
Right.
Okay,
Even
I
if
see what
there
you're
isn't
saying.
like there won't be a study showing.
But then
anything.
let me ask you: are you willing to accept the cultural consequences of your position?
Yeah, because I don't see the pros being that as strong as it's being sold to us.
Yeah.
We're just fine. So I'm okay with it.
Well,
I totally see what
I
you're
totally
saying.
see your point, and
Yeah,
because I
same,
do,
same.
like, I'm on like
Yeah,
I'm on the fence about everything,
same.
and I think that's how
Dude,
you
know
should
what?
be.
I would recommend everyone, and this goes for me too. I got to do a lot more of this, but man, just go study some viruses. It's really not as complicated as it's all being made out to be. And a lot of the buzzwords and things that they're using to scare you, you're gonna realize is just fucking normal shit. It's like, it's the ignorance, man. It's people don't know what they're talking about, so they just take
Sure.
them. Take
Well,
the-
and also it's like like viruses and bacteria. It's all part of nature. It's like, what if it's just Earth's fucking way of thinning us out? And like we're trying to fight it.
Yeah,
Right?
true,
Like,
true.
no,
but it's
no,
like,
no,
what if
no,
we
no.
should just
I don't
fucking
know
let
if
it
you want
happen?
to assign like a character to.
that's the misconception is that viruses are trying to kill us. The virus isn't trying to kill us.
The virus is doing what it wants to do.
Yeah.
No, and
The virus wants to spread
and
and-
the virus is gonna.
and
In
reproduce.
99.9% of cases, the virus is evolving to coexist with you and not kill you.
Yeah, well, and they talk
So-
about
Well,
like
what do you mean by 99% of cases?
Because in all of our like database of viruses, I think there's one or two that didn't do that.
an effective virus will not kill you. It'll just
There's
make
like
you
there's
sick.
like a
and-
couple of cases that were like
Right,
unique.
they-
Yeah, and that's why
Yeah.
coronavirus is so effective because you can go 14 days without showing
Typically,
any
they
symptoms.
evolve to not
Right.
kill the host.
And it's true.
From what I've seen. Unless
Wait,
you
but
can-
then okay, let me pose it to you. Do you want to subject people to that transition period where they are killing the host because they haven't gone to that point yet, because they haven't developed that point yet, and they're causing very real medical damage to people? Do we just accept that as the cost of iterating through evolution? In your case that you're positing, or do we try
But
to
you're
not allow that to
you're
happen?
anti-vaccinate. Your vaccine. So say
No, answer my question. Are we willing to let this happen to populations of people where we have to go through a transition
But
period?
how is your vaccination protocol going to save you from something that you haven't seen for 100 years?
Answer the question is
it's
what I'm
It's
asking.
a different question. Like,
Don't answer my question. Another question. I'm questioning you because you said a statement saying that, and I just want to clarify. Are we okay with allowing this transition period where the virus?
But you're allowing it through not having the vaccination protocol, right?
I'm just saying the virus will be a thing and it will harm people. This is evident. This
Yes.
you can't disagree.
Okay, yes.
And people will die from it.
Yes.
Are we willing to allow that to come to fruition?
You don't have a choice. You don't get to allow it. It's going to happen.
No, you do get to allow it.
yeah.
No,
The humans
but
have tools
that's why-
available to
that's why
them
I'm saying
to
you're-
combat viruses.
You're assuming that your antivirus is going to be able to predict.
I'm
the
not saying
virus
I'm not
from a-
saying just
Yes, you
antivirus.
are.
I'm not saying antivirus. When we were doing lockdown, none of us were taking antiviral drugs. We're doing social constructs to limit physical
Spread,
transmission.
right.
Okay,
and that's
so-
not anything to do with
But this is not that,
Injecting
and this
me-
is clearly not that. We can
that's
we can see that's not that.
what do you what like
the bullshit risk model that was used to convince everyone that it was even close to that, which is not.
there's been several studies done on restaurants showing that they're high vector of infection because of the HVAC systems used in restaurants and how they can circulate through a space, and that there's a reason why they're opening up restaurants with only no more than 30% capacity, because they know that at any higher, the risk model for infection is too high because of the physical properties of this virus, of how it spreads.
Yeah. So
What do you mean so?
I don't see. I don't
There's
see.
just
what
there's
you're
too
trying
much
to say.
disconnecting the two, like what you guys are trying to argue. Because like, I know I see what's happening here.
Okay, Min, you take it then. You take it from the top.
So yeah, a virus can spread, but what does that mean to me? Like
No,
that
no.
doesnn tell me anything. A virus has high
Well,
spreadability.
Because like
But
your earlier
That doesn't
statement-
mean that it's a threat.
your earlier statement was
You
that,
know
like-
how many viruses
Never
that like,
Dude, there's probably billions of viruses in this room right now.
Yes.
And none are affecting us.
Yes.
But there are some that are very dangerous. Like,
yes, and that's why I'm saying like
Also, the more the dangerous the virus is, the less spreadable it is.
yeah. Well, there's that. That's a
yeah,
that's a co-
there is a correlation to that,
There's
where
a
there's
con-
an
that's a
inverse
concrete-
correlation where
yeah.
Like Ebola.
of how deadly a virus is, its ability to propagate itself
Yes, but
will
we're
be
talking
limited.
about like that
Sure.
fraction of a percent, at least that we've experienced so far in our existence, of that doesn't behave that way. And I'm saying your
Of
protocol
course,
is not
you're
going to
not
protect
wrong.
you from that fraction. of a
You're not
percent.
wrong at all, Billy. But we're not talking.
So how does that have anything to do with me being okay with letting this happen?
Because you're saying
'Cause
that.
you're saying
no,
that-
no, 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 no,
no,
because
because-
no. I mean,
Yeah.
Billy, you're saying that.
You have no choice.
No, Billy, you're saying that right now. What I'm hearing is that the infectiousness of the coronavirus is being overplayed.
No.
Okay, then if it's not,
I'm saying the danger of it and the effect that it's going to have on humanity is being overplayed.
so you're saying it's not as lethal as it is, or you're saying it's not as dangerous for the people that it is lethal to. Is not as dangerous as it is for them.
Not as dangerous as the people it's lethal
Let me
to.
explain the
Because
greater
there's a danger to
ramifications of
coronavirus.
danger of the coronavirus.
Okay, I just want to say that.
Yeah, there's no doubt a subgroup that it's very lethal to, right? And we should
Right.
be careful of.
Let me get into this a little bit. The danger is not in just the coronavirus itself. The danger is its spreadability, because if you have a mass influx of people with the coronavirus, even if it's not deadly, you overrun the health system, and
Yeah.
the people that need critical healthcare for other things like the other illnesses that need
That
you
aren't
know,
corona, that they just
that
get
aren't
injuries,
corona,
or
that-
do they just have a
other
heart
things.
stroke? Or
Exactly,
whatever.
heart stroke, whatever, cancer. They have no more space to have their standard treatments because they're being pushed out.
No,
you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So that is the greater
That's the danger.
Yeah, it's not just the corona; it's the greater implications
Yeah.
of that.
Yeah,
Right?
but I still don't agree like a vaccination thing would solve that. That's something that corona exposes
The weaknesses.
the weaknesses in our system already.
For sure, absolutely. It
For
does-
sure,
we're not
without a
arguing.
doubt.
100%,
Yeah,
Yeah, so
I think
100%.
no one's gonna
So
disagree
maybe that
there.
infrastructure needs to be better.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think
yeah.
1000%.
But
Yes,
forcing
yeah.
vaccinations on people.
But no one is
no one's
forcing
this.
vaccinations.
That hasn't happened yet.
No
There
one
hasn't
has
been a
forced
mandate yet.
vaccinations.
But we were talking about vaccinations.
It could happen. This is
Yeah.
This
But
is
the stage is set.
Yes,
The stage is set.
it does look that way.
It does look like that.
We're not arguing that at all. Like it does look
I
that way.
guarantee you, if,
but we'll
if
see
they
when
push
the
something
proof-
like that, majority of people would go on board with it at this point.
hypothetically,
Yeah, 100%. I agree with
Just-
Roy.
just from,
this
like,
is,
the
this
general-
is the 9/11 for accepting vaccinations.
and what we were saying earlier, we will see in time. The proof is in the pudding. If they do implement these things, then that should happen.
So,
But
so what are you gonna
Including-
do when? So if they do force the implement?
then we have a decision to make.
Then we have to make that
We
decision.
have to make a decision, right?
But I don't think
But at
we're
that
headed
point, it
towards
may
that
be
path.
too late to
But
make
yeah,
a
at that
decision.
point it's too late.
At that
You don't
point,
get a
no,
decision.
I don't
Now-
think we're
now
headed
you can't
towards
go
that
to
path.
fucking
I don't
Japan.
think-
You can't do anything
I don't think it's 100% too late
that's
because
the
I think there
problem.
might be enough of like
Unless you get the vaccination.
outrage
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
or
Look, Billy, you're not a minority in how you feel about this, okay? And so you feel passionate as you do. There's probably at least half of it who feel more passionate than you. And so do you think they're gonna allow that? No, they're not gonna allow
gonna
that.
fight.
And
I know
also,
that.
we live in a
I
state.
see that very. I
but-
feel that
but
every day.
we also live in a state that doesn't have anything in its Bill of Rights or its charter that says there's mandated medical vaccinations. So I don't see us at any point right now.
They're
Like you
not
might be
gonna-
culturally stigmatized for sure.
It
But-
might not be mandatory like everybody has to get it, but you'll have
there is
certain
actually a
restrictions.
degree of mandatory. Like, dude,
in place for sure.
kids already get like mandatory vaccination. Like,
Let's-
they have no say in the matter.
Let's say there's this.
Well, the parents
So there is
do.
already kind of that.
if they do implement
Well, yeah,
a
the parents do
vaccination
that,
and
yeah.
some sort of requirement for flying, they might have some like other clause where it's like, okay, if you didn't take the vaccination, you have to be agreed to a body scan, temperature scan, like
Actually-
blood test to make
Wait,
sure
wait,
you're fully
actually,
good, all these other things.
Can I bring the discussion back to when we're talking about viruses and immunology, where we were saying that what is wrong with combating viruses in this particular method in vaccinations? It seems like there's an issue with using vaccinations as a tool to combat viruses. Can you go back to that, Billy?
I never had a problem with using it as a tool.
No, because you were saying that like
I was saying,
why would we target certain viruses if there's so many viruses? Why would we be so
I don't think
antivirus?
we were saying that.
No, you were saying something to the like that we shouldn't be behaving this way to viruses because they're a natural state
Because
of things.
remember all the history of all the viruses. That
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not what I was saying at all.
Redefine that statement.
Yeah, I just want you to reiterate what you were saying from that point, just so we can get a same baseline.
Yeah.
Because
Wait, can you say that again? Because I'm fucking a little loopy.
Now I wish we could just go back and
Yeah.
play it. You were saying that we shouldn't.
Oh, yeah. So
Here we go.
shit, I'm losing it again. I wasn't saying. Oh man, what am I trying to say?
Remember
now?
all the viruses
it was
evolved,
something-
try to like.
to exist and adapt with its host.
Yeah, and not
Yeah.
to like kill the host, so it can.
Ultimately,
Oh.
if a virus didn't kill its host, it would spread more.
right, there'd be more.
And ultimately, the virus's goal is to reproduce.
right.
No,
Yeah.
we don't know that. That's
Yeah.
not
We're
necessarily
assuming-
a
we're
truth.
assuming that.
That's
We're
not a
assuming-
truth.
But like throughout,
It's trying to see the future.
No,
all
no,
nature-
no. The virus doesn't even know what future is.
But it knows what
like
survival
you're
is.
imparting like human-like constructs to
I
it.
think biologists and shit
No,
would
but just
disagree with
in
you, but-
Brandon, in nature.
no,
in
well, a
general,
virus is trying to
It doesn't
do.
know. It's not conscious, but it still has a mission. It still has a function. And
For
its
sure.
function
I feel like we're in
function.
some pseudoscience gray territory right now.
Okay, no, but okay, Brandon, I
disagree.
just want to make this point. All of nature is just trying to survive, right? In the best way possible.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Can we
saying. It's
agree
trying
on
to see
that?
the
Okay,
future.
but okay, we're also getting
If
to
it
the,
wasn't, why would it infect you?
we're because it
And
it,
reproduce-
it has
using it.
biological chemical machinations to it that
For
just
what?
make it. Well, okay, okay. Do you guys think viruses are alive?
No, we're not. I'm not trying
Well,
to argue they're
they're-
alive.
No,
They-
no, because
They're only alive when they attach themselves.
that's a
to-
key question to what we're about to talk to because we're about to talk about because you guys are saying that there's some motivation for viruses to continue to propagate outside of its very innate,
not conscious
innate physical
motivation.
characteristics.
Maybe not conscious
Just,
motivation.
just
You
from
know what
a
I'm saying? Like-
a strictly survival point. Like, if a virus wants to survive,
So by saying survive, you mean you are implicitly saying that viruses are alive because it has to be alive to
Not
survive.
necessarily.
Well-
it's just a lack of language. You got to just kind of open up your interpretation.
No,
a
no,
little
no,
bit.
no. But
because viruses aren't technically
it's not
alive.
about lack of language. It's more about
Well, it is.
the language. Sometimes
what if you
needs
said
to
it this
be
way?
concretely
Okay.
defined at a
Yeah,
certain
in a
point.
particular context.
Yeah.
Well, not
I totally
necessarily, but anyway.
Like you can't just use language
Dude,
for
someone
whatever
could
you
have
want it to
bad
be
grammar.
and just
Someone
say
could
it
have
is 'cause
horrible
it is.
fucking grammar and spelling, and you can know what they're talking about. But anyway,
All my point is that if the virus wants to survive, the best way for it to do that is to not kill its host.
yeah, exactly, and that's what they primarily do.
So if given evolution, how
But so,
and
so
like
but,
we were talking
but
about earlier,
we're making one big assumption here that the virus wants to continue surviving.
but that's all of nature.
that's its. Why would
How-
it re-
whoa,
if
whoa,
it
whoa.
didn't want to survive?
How
why
about
would it reproduce?
Ebola? That's a virus that kills its host within like less than
Yeah, and then
24
it's
and that's
done.
why it doesn't survive.
But then, so is that a net negative for the virus?
It is very negative.
That's-
Why?
that's
Why?
just a poorly
why,
designed
why
virus.
would you not say that it's already accomplished its goal to kill its virus, to kill its host? Why would we assign that is not
Okay,
its
like
real
why
goal?
why does
Right?
that
And,
maybe-
and we do.
What if survival is not
But that's
the
assuming
Ebola's
that
goal?
it's
It's
its
to
goal.
kill as fast as
So,
possible.
but you're
That is
also
its
making
goal.
an assumption
so when it
that
kills
its goal is to
host,
survive.
it's one. You know.
Well,
in that
You're,
argument.
you're assigning an attribute
Typically-
to
'Cause you're
no, you're
assuming-
But where in
assigning an
nature does that
attribute to it
happen?
that we don't necessarily
Ebola.
know.
And
well,
other-
99% of the
Black
time,
Plague,
it seems to tell us that.
I think
I'm not.
Just
I
put
don't
up,
know
think
enough
all you want, man.
viruses.
Like,
no,
if
no,
you
no,
look at
no,
all
no.
other
You're
forms of
hitting on a very
wildlife
crucial
nature.
question.
Yeah, but
of
not
I
all.
can say a
virology
tiger
that's
kills
heavily
a-
heavily
Yeah, but you
debated
can't
are
compare a
viruses
tiger
alive or
to
not.
a virus.
Okay, but I'm
No,
not
but
trying
a
to
virus
argue
is not
it's
even
alive.
technically alive,
No,
like
but
you just said.
you're implicitly
compare
saying
it.
you're
If I
saying
live
it's
if I wrote a
alive.
computer, if I wrote a
Like,
computer
this-
virus right
you know
now,
what I mean? Like,
But we
and
ha-
its only
that's the only thing
function
we
was
can
to see the
compare it to.
future, and that's what it
Because we're
did.
trying to understand
and so
what
you-
Does it not
this
have an intent to see the
virus-
future?
Sure, in that one specific
intention
instance,
is-
but you're
only
using
thing
that
we
as a
can think of is
construct
that it's
to imply
survival.
that all viruses
No.
behave in the same. No,
No,
you
I'm
are.
not-
Then why
I'm
would
not
you?
saying
no,
that
no,
the
no.
virus
See, there you go.
knows.
By saying
I
majority,
know,
you're
right?
assigning a broad stroke
But
to
in
viruses
order
that
for
they
this
have
virus
this
to
quality of
continue
quality.
surviving,
But
then
we
we
don't
shouldn't
know
kill the
that.
host.
People in biology don't
that's
know
a
that.
very like human logic.
And you're
like,
laughing
logically
because
that
I'm
would
saying
make
people in
sense
biology, but
in a
you think
human
about it.
perspective, but
Why would you assume a
that's
virus's
upon a
ultimate
lot
goal
of
is to propagate itself?
assumptions made.
But you are. You're saying that. You're saying generally. You said the word general, so you are saying that.
99% of the time, just look at it.
Split break.
Just look at what.
You
Yeah,
guys,
let's take a break.
you guys
Let's
Take a
love,
split break. All right, we're gonna pause
you guys
right
always
now.
love talking
We'll
about
be
stuff
back. Red Hot.
That's my pizza. Other pizza.
Yo, I wish I didn't make the pizza I did.
You know, like
This is yours?
No, I'm liking it, but I'm like I should have took the opportunity to do something more.